Coast to coast, direct from Austin. You're listening to the Alex Jones Broadcasting Network.
Big Brother, mainstream media, government cover-ups. You want answers? Well, so does he. He's Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network. And now, live from Austin, Texas, Alex Jones.
Hi, friends. Thank you so much for joining us on this live Friday worldwide broadcast. We're going to be here for the next 3 hours, as we are every weekday, and I'll be back this Sunday, Lord willing, 4 to 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. And we're going to cover the Chinese state-run media openly giving out nuke targeting list of the United States with damage projections for places like Los Angeles. We're going to get into all the latest news that's up on Infowars.com and prisonplanet.com as well. We're going to look at the march of the authoritarians that call themselves the liberal, progressive, politically correct crew. We're going to look at the latest on Obamacare and what it has been designed to do. Israel has had a strike on Syrian military bases. So that is continuing. We have a new video with Pearl Jam singer stops concert to push gun grabbing while he has armed bodyguards. Talk about ridiculous. We also have some other very important articles on the unemployment numbers, the NSA, and police now in 18-wheelers surveilling drivers. So that's just some of what is coming up here on the broadcast today. Now, we're also going to be interviewing a special guest coming up on the transmission. Study, conspiracy theorists are sane, government dupes are crazy, hostile. A recent study by psychologists and social scientists in the U.S. and the U.K. at major universities suggests that contrary to mainstream or brainwashed stereotypes, those labeled conspiracy theorists appear to be saner than those who accept the official versions of contested events. That's like the Democrats. They are still busy running around saying that Obamacare is a great thing. And then if you don't agree with that, you are a bad guy. And it's the same thing. They come out and move to get the Alamo UN World Heritage Site designation, which in the agreement says 7 square miles have building restrictions on them, and then every other mission in San Antonio going under it has similar controls, and it's in the treaty, and it's on record what it does. So the media comes out and says there is no UN period involvement. Alex Jones is a liar. Same media that says there are no domestic drones. QE3 doesn't devalue the dollar. Obamacare is going to work great. There are no death panels. They just lie to you, and people don't feel empowered. So they just go, well, it must be true because they wouldn't lie to me because I don't want to feel like I'm a loser. You're a loser accepting the con game. You're a loser going along with this corruption. You're a loser putting up with the garbage. You're a loser when you buy into the con that if you imagine that you're not being conned, that somehow it's like Oprah Winfrey in The Secret. I can't tell you how many people I know who believe that if they just think something, it's going to happen. Sure, confidence in sales, confidence in dating, it has a big effect. But you can be as confident as you want to be and walk up to a 50-story skyscraper that has concrete below and jump off, and you will die. When you hit the concrete below, you will die. Unless you hit a bunch of awnings or something on the way down. People have lived because they hit 4 or 5 awnings, break their back and every other bone, but they live. You are not going to just have Oprah Winfrey's The Secret and jump off a building and then sprout wings and fly down to the bottom. That isn't how that works, okay? So we're going to come back, get into all of it. A man has been banned for Facebook for saying he likes fried meatballs. That's now racist. We're going to talk about it all and more. I'm not kidding, by the way. We're going to be right back. Stay with us. My friends, Alex Jones here to tell you about some of the most important information concerning you and your family's health. Radiation levels have more than doubled in the last 60 years in the Northern Hemisphere from all of the nuclear testing and radiological accidents. Radioactive contamination is now in most of the food supply. There's only two ways to avoid this. Move south of the equator or properly protect your thyroid with nascent iodine. Looking to protect my family, I've done deep research. Nascent iodine is the purest, cleanest, absolute best form of iodine to protect yourself and your family. It's made right here in the USA, completely non-GMO. I searched out the best quality and now have developed a double-strength form of nascent iodine, exclusively available at InfoWarsLife.com. Nascent iodine is on record as one of the only safe ways to detox from fluoride poisoning. Survival Shield Nascent Iodine. Secure your super high-quality nascent iodine today at InfoWarsLife.com. That's InfoWarsLife.com. Alex Jones here, and I want to tell you about a longtime friend of the show, My Patriot Supply. As you might remember, this is the company that stood up to the DHS and exposed FEMA's secret plan to begin hoarding emergency survival food. It has always been my belief that it's key to stand behind companies who share the same values as their fellow patriots. My Patriot Supply brings us their exclusive Patriot Pantry brand, along with many other fine preparedness products. I personally store and use their high-quality products. It tastes great, and it's easy to store for up to 25 years. For a limited time, you can save $50 instantly on a 4-week supply of food, along with other special offers. Visit mypatriotsupply.com/Alex today. With the New World Order making rapid advances on every front, it is essential to prepare with My Patriot Supply today.
Cal-Ben Soap Company can save you thousands of dollars and give you good old-fashioned real soap that is triple concentrated and made from the highest quality vegetable and coconut oils. See them on the web, www.5starsoap.com, or call 1-800-340-7091 for a free catalog and buy American-made products. Order the sampler, a 1 to 2 month supply, or get a 1 to 2 year supply of soaps for all your cleaning needs. You're getting soap products twice as good as what you're using now. This is an amazing deal, and you will love the way real soap makes your skin feel. Call 1-800-340-7091 or visit www.5starsoap.com. Alex and his staff have used these earth-friendly, pure soaps for years. See them on the web, www.5starsoap.com, or call 1-800-340-7091 for a catalog.
Crashing through the lies and disinformation. It's Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network.
Hi, friends. It's Friday, and we're going to have open phones for first-time callers on any subject or news item you wish to raise. I love the wild card element of it. On any subject you wish to discuss, questions, comments, agree, disagree, toll-free number to join us. For first-time callers, 800-259-9231, 800-259-9231. We've got a ton of obviously very important news to get to, but I want to make something clear up front. It's Hillary Clinton's job to be discredited and take the blame and be politically destroyed and then rebuilt again. It's Barack Obama's job to be politically built up, then destroyed, then built back up again, to take the blame for what the establishment's doing. I've had the analogy for more than 15 years on air that many of you have heard that's been picked up by a lot of folks, and that's always good because it's a good way to telegraph information to folks, that the Republican and Democratic parties to the offshore banking cartels that are above the law, tax exempt, with diplomatic immunity, they are like body armor on a knight 1,000 years ago in, say, France. And the Republican and Democratic parties are like a shield, and the shield gets all dent up and gets damaged and bashed in, and There's holes in it after 4 to 8 years with a presidential frontman or puppet. And then the establishment throws down that shield and they pick up a new shield, a new Republican or Democratic front person that they finance and put into power. And this has never been more obvious than it is with Obama. As many have joked, he's the third or fourth term of George W. Bush. Or one could argue that he is the fifth or sixth term for the Clintons. It really doesn't matter, because when you look at Goldman Sachs, J.P. Morgan, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, and the other big Federal Reserve shareholders of the big mega banks that literally control the issuance of currency and credit in this giant rigged casino, and who are taking over our world and waging war against the free market, when you really look at it, it's the exact same people behind both major political parties punching the buttons, pulling the strings, giving the orders. And you've got total continuity of agenda between administration after administration, really since Kennedy got his head blown off. I mean, that's really, you always had corruption, you always had special interests, you always had problems, but there would be different power structures at certain levels in there, struggling for control. There was a lobby for workers, and there was a manufacturing lobby, and there was a states lobby, and there was a Christian lobby. Now there's just a big mega bank, foreign bank cartel lobby that is running the show. And all they need is the illusion that things are changing on the surface. Can somebody get me a water? I forgot to get one, and my throat's dry. Thank you. And when you sit there and look at this now, that's why things are so corrupt, and that's why the establishment can basically get away with bloody murder, is that there are no other special interests that are even corrupt to compete with the globalist. See, the founders wanted a balance of power, a separation of power, a constitution, a Bill of Rights, a states versus the feds, two branches of the Congress, legislative, the executive, the different groups, the judicial, knowing that there would be powerful, corrupt individuals at different levels of it, but hoping that it would tie the hands of one central dictatorship or one central oligarchy to come into power if they could play off these different power structures against each other. It's basically an architecture. And it worked better than any other system we've seen to restrain corruption, to restrain one central group getting in control, and the stagnation and corruption that invariably leads from all of that. And so I just wanted to state today up front, that's why things are so bad. And we have these corporate interests that are basically now trying to cement and establish their illegitimate takeover of society. And that's why they want to put authoritarianism in and dumb down the population, is so that there's no resistance to the total hegemonic control that they are attempting to put into place. And they're not in full control yet. There isn't a total global government yet. There isn't total currency and cash controls yet. We haven't been totally dumbed down and balkanized and atomized politically yet. But you can see the road that we're going down only gets worse. Thank you for the water. And so I'm just here pointing out to the nouveau riche, some of the establishment people that aren't totally evil, and for folks that really want to have a prosperous and stable future for your children, if you're not completely evil and completely into just raw destructive power, you should be firmly against the New World Order, because it is basically like signing on with Sauron to take over all of Middle Earth, if you want to use that analogy. I mean, this is madness. To make a deal with this and just say that it's a good idea and a wonderful thing. So you're going to see articles like this one in the press out there, in places like theweek.com, saying, why is Hillary Clinton's popularity sliding? Well, I mean, who cares? She's just a CIA operative since the 60s who's here to break down the U.S. and collectivize us, while picking up lots of hot young girlfriends. I mean, that's what Hillary Clinton does. And then we see articles about Obama. He's plunging. He's in trouble. The point is you've got the Republican leadership with Obama and the state-run media all attacking the Libertarian Tea Party right now because they are able to point out that it's the globalists that are wrecking things. The globalists may get the blame and may get in trouble for what they've done, and we could have a real restoration of our republic. If we have a real debate about this, then the worst common denominator in politics and in special interest won't be able to govern our entire society and take over our world. And so with that backdrop, we have to understand that we're dealing with an inbred group of royalty and other powerful families who universally in their own publications say they believe humanity's a bunch of ugly trash. We're eating up their resources. The world is theirs. We are an infestation that must be culled, that must be removed, that must be gotten rid of. And so whether you want to believe that reality or not, that reality is there. That reality is the policy and the point from which this whole system flows. I mean, here's an article today on the Associated Press. AP editors, Obama relies on staged propaganda photos. And it's not like we need AP to tell us that. But for the public, that's a revelation. That government and media are even staging things. We've got other articles here where top hospitals opt out of Obamacare in U.S. News and World Report. Again, the top hospitals with the big insurance companies and banks wrote Obamacare. They don't have to be under it. Only smaller hospital chains, state-run city hospitals, real charity hospitals, and real private hospitals, they are all to be shut down. So there it is from U.S. News and World Report. Just like all the big corporations are exempt from Obamacare. It's only for you that doesn't have a lobby. Anything that comes out of this system, it's the same globalists looting Greece, looting Argentina, looting the United States. I mean, we know what they do because we've watched them do it over and over again, not just here, but other places. It's very, very simple to understand. It's like watching a baby bird fall out of a tree and watching somebody's cat jump off the front porch and run up and grab the bird and eat it. You don't have to know what the cat's going to do when it drags the bird off because you've seen it before. You know what the cat does to baby birds or does to baby mice. Oh, but don't worry, ISSA is going to have a hearing about it, just like Fast and Furious and everything else, and then nothing will be done. But they'll score some more fake political points instead of actually moving to have these criminals arrested. And then Pat Buchanan has an article out, The First Hustler Runs the Big Con. And, of course, told you in the last 6 years hundreds of times that they would never kick you off a plan and let you keep your plan. So let's play a short compilation of Obama just to remind you of how he lied to you.
We will keep this promise to the American people. If you like your doctor, you will be able to keep your doctor.
That's 2009.
Period. If you like your health care plan, you'll be able to keep your health care plan. Period.
Period.
First of all, if you've got health insurance, you like your doctor, you like your plan, you can keep your doctor, you can keep your plan. Nobody is talking about taking that away from you.
No matter what you've heard, if you like your doctor or health care plan, you can keep it. If you like your doctor, you can keep your doctor. If you like your private health insurance plan, you can keep your plan. Period.
If you are among the hundreds of millions of Americans who already have health insurance through your job, or Medicare, or Medicaid, or the VA, nothing in this plan will require you or your employer to change the coverage of the doctor you have.
And I think that's enough. That's from the State of the Union. There's more. But here's the issue. It was in the legislation that they could kick you off and jack up your rates because the insurance companies wrote it. So it was his job to sit there and tell you that it was a hoax, that it would kick you off your plan or raise your premiums. That's now all happened across the board. And it's just like the news saying that the UN isn't taking over the Alamo. It's a fact they are, but they just come out and say, I'm a liar. The UN is not involved in any way. That's what they do. They are enemy operators.
Every day it becomes more clear our nation is headed towards an uncertain future. Nothing can ensure your family's security like an Atlas survival shelter. The strongest money can buy and designed to be buried up to 42 feet deep with all the comforts of home and all the protection you need. Bulletproof hatches, tamper-resistant air pipes, and a unique ground design that'll withstand a bomb. See them today at iwantthatbunker.com or call 1-855-4BUNKER. Atlas Survival Shelters. Better prepared than scared.
Hi, this is Ted Anderson. Have you ever wondered why banks, stockbrokers, investment advisors won't talk about gold IRAs? They've been available since 1986, yet the financial industry won't recognize the value of gold for your retirement. Gold has outperformed paper investments, yet no word about IRAs. If you would like to have gold for your retirement, call 800-686-2237. Don't get left behind by rising inflation and low returns. Call 800-686-2237. Secure your future and call 1-800-686-2237.
There are those curious about Bitcoins and those using and making money with Bitcoins. What are Bitcoins? A Bitcoin is the first decentralized currency that can be easily transferred from person to person over the internet. No bank needed. This means lower fees, and accounts can never be frozen, limited, or closed. You are in control of your money. And the best part? You can start earning and making money with Bitcoins right away. No computer or expertise is required to earn money with Bitcoins, and a growing number of merchants now accept Bitcoins. Plus, they're easily exchanged for dollars, euros, and more. Learn more about the easiest, cheapest, most profitable way to enter the Bitcoin market and get paid every 2 weeks by one of the fastest growing Bitcoin miners in the world at cloudhashing.com. Just like it sounds, cloudhashing.com. That's cloudhashing.com. We mine your business.
My friends, Alex Jones here to tell you about some of the most important information concerning you and your family's health. Radiation levels have more than doubled in the last 60 years in the Northern Hemisphere from all of the nuclear testing and radiological accidents. Radioactive contamination is now in most of the food supply. There's only 2 ways to avoid this. Move south of the equator or properly protect your thyroid with nascent iodine. Looking to protect my family, I've done deep research. Nascent iodine is the purest, cleanest, absolute best form of iodine to protect yourself and your family. It's made right here in the USA, completely non-GMO. I searched out the best quality and now have developed a double-strength form of nascent iodine, exclusively available at InfoWarsLife.com. Nascent iodine is on record as one of the only safe ways to detox from fluoride poisoning. Survival Shield Nascent Iodine. Secure your super high-quality nascent iodine today at InfoWarsLife.com. That's InfoWarsLife.com.
And now, an important sponsored message for men only from GetEDSolutions.com. Men who were formerly taking ED medication are now reporting that a secret underground video has restored their male performance better than pills. These men say this secret underground video is bringing back the male performance and sensation they've been missing for years, and it's working better than pills.
Things are so much better now. Everything kind of came back overnight. My girlfriend is very happy.
I purchased your product yesterday, and it was fantastic.
I have used your system for about 3 weeks, and I'm already seeing great results.
The owner of this video has reported the overwhelming bandwidth costs may necessitate his taking this video down. Don't miss watching this urgent video on fixing male performance while it's still up at GetEDSolutions.com. There may only be hours left, so watch now at GetEDSolutions.com. GetEDSolutions.com. GetEDSolutions.com.
It's always a tough vote because the average person thinks raising the debt ceiling must mean that we're running up our debt. Raising the debt ceiling, which has been done over 100 times, does not increase our debt. It does not somehow promote profligacy. All it does is it says you got to pay the bills that you've already racked up, Congress.
Just got paid today. Got me a pocket full of change.
You're listening to The Alex Jones Show.
Said I just got paid today. Got me a pocket.
You know, back in 1990, just so you know the type of evil we're dealing with, in Northern Europe, in Western Europe, in England and in the United States, all at the same concerted time. They began mandated, basically under UNESCO, UN guidelines. That's what our Department of Education's under. And so are these other Department of Educations. That's why from Australia to the U.S., it's the same programs, same names in most cases. Global standardization through regulatory systems. Agenda 21 is just part of that on the environment to take over society and centralize control by these arrogant globalists who see us as a plague when they're really the plague. They came out and began death education and suicide prevention as part of death education, having kids get in coffins, having children be rolled up in blankets and have kids sit on them to simulate death, so that children that never thought about death would then get into it and begin thinking about it. And I want to do a report on the nightly news tonight, or maybe on the Sunday show, because I was just thinking about this during the break. One of the guys pointed something out to me, and I want to go back and show people the backstory on this, because we've covered this so long, and now we've gotten to this point where they came out about a month ago in a big national study we covered here and said, wow, all over the country, anti-bullying training triples bullying. Well, yeah, you go tell 11-year-old girls how to strangle themselves with a shoestring, hanging it on a coat rack in the bathroom, and you teach 500 girls that in a school of 1,000. In every school, sometimes 3 or 4, because they would copy each other. That's what little girls do. They would go hang themselves. There have been national news stories about this. Like, did it backfire? It didn't backfire. For 40 years or more, it just came out in the news again last week, they have kids play spaceship or lifeboat and go, we need policemen, we need teachers, we need bureaucrats. We don't need librarians or whatever. And then they decide who's thrown off the spaceship or who's thrown off the lifeboat because there's not enough food for everybody. So we've got to decide who dies. Yeah, there's CBS News. Anti-bullying programs are having an opposite effect. And they ask, are they? And, of course, it's a tripling in the overall rate in the 50 states in a major study of 7,000 students. But shifting gears, the point is, John Bound goes, why didn't you cover yesterday? It was in your stack, and I saw you talking about it. Why didn't you talk about Belgium and the Netherlands and others are set if kids want to commit suicide? And of course, folks, you can't come to a kid and say, you're 12. Do you want to have an abortion? You have the parental right. Well, now they do that in California. You know, your parents don't count now. You make the decision. Well, they're a minor. That's why you can't go convince a minor to have sex with you or a minor to use drugs. They don't have free will, every culture has said. And you can't have outsiders, the state, saying it's their free will to have an abortion with your kid, or their free will to give them a morning after pill, or their free will to give them inoculations. They're now passing laws. So you heard about, decades ago in Europe, they passed laws saying kids have rights to divorce their parents and all this, just if they don't like them or their parents are Christians or whatever, they'll take them away, or the parents don't want the 5-year-old to be a lesbian because the school taught them that they were a lesbian. It's not pedophilia when you do that. It's loving liberalness. So you could go then be taken away and do whatever you want at age 5 if you want it. Well, now the state's teaching the kids that if you want to commit suicide, we'll help you right now. And CBS News is reporting it. NBC News is reporting it. The London Telegraph is reporting it. Belgium considering new euthanasia law for kids, and they report it like it's no big deal. And so they say in California, they will give you money prizes on discount cards. They will give you video games, you name it, if you go and you get the inoculations or if you have the abortion. So they tell your kids, we will pay you to have an abortion and your parents don't count. I mean, that is just light years past the Soviet Union. Just like they're telling the army, if you're a Christian or you're part of the Tea Party, we're going to arrest you. And then that's a footnote, and Fox News asks, is that good? Can't say, oh my gosh, we're in trouble. No, see, it's all part of acclimating now. The supposed opposition news just says, is that good? Remember last year, Paul Watson published an article that for a week no one picked up because they didn't believe it, from the Journal of Bioethics, saying kill children, even healthy up to age 3 if the parents wanted to. Then finally people admitted it was real. It was a big national story. A year and a half later, it's like, well, of course we're going to kill kids. And if your 10-year-old wants to, we'll give them the pills to do it.
We're on the march. The empire's on the run. Alex Jones and the GCN Radio Network.
When an emergency happens, you'll be left to fend for yourself and your family. An outbreak of contagious disease can happen anywhere, and the threat of bioterrorism is always at hand. Because we're faced with more diseases than ever before, we need a better solution than ever before. Fortunately, there's a simple, effective way to protect yourself. Supernatural Silver offers a safe and effective means of fighting pathogens and can help defeat the root of these problems. Supernatural Silver is effective against more than 500 different disease-causing pathogens without encouraging drug resistance and without side effects. Supernatural Silver is the #1 choice of thousands of people for immune system support. Go to supernaturalsilver.com and give you and your loved ones a fighting chance. That's supernaturalsilver.com. Use the promo code October 2013 for 20% off your entire order and like us on Facebook.
When you're out on the road, the last place you want to be is on the road. But if the unfortunate happens, you'll be glad you were wearing diamond gussets.
There's a place down in Tennessee where they make blue diamond gusset jeans. They so pride in every stitch, guarantee you love the way they fit. They put a diamond gusset in the crotch where you need it most. Blue diamond gussets got it, others don't.
We turn jeans inside out. Diamond gusset jeans. Made in the USA with unparalleled quality. Our Defender motorcycle jeans combine gusset comfort with Kevlar protection, so you can ride all day with confidence. Order yours at gusset.com. Diamond gusset jeans got it. Others don't.
Cal-Ben Soap Company can save you thousands of dollars and give you good old-fashioned real soap that is triple concentrated and made from the highest quality vegetable and coconut oils. See them on the web, www.5starsoap.com, or call 1-800-340-7091 for a free catalog and buy American-made products. Order the sampler, a 1 to 2 month supply, or get a 1 to 2 year supply of soaps for all your cleaning needs. You're getting soap products twice as good as what you're using now. This is an amazing deal, and you will love the way real soap makes your skin feel. Call 1-800-340-7091 or visit www.5starsoap.com. Alex and his staff have used these earth-friendly, pure soaps for years. See them on the web, www.5starsoap.com, or call 1-800-340-7091 for a catalog.
Take you live to the Central Texas Command Center in the heart of the resistance. It's Alex Jones.
By the way, in 1992, 2020 on ABC News, I know because I had the tape years ago and played clips of it on my Access television show in 1996 and did investigations of it, that they had a doubling, tripling, or quadrupling, depending on which study or report you looked at, of suicides right after they started teaching the most impressionable coast to coast. The first school to start it was Littleton in Colorado. Basically a hardcore mind control program, teaching the intermediate school children, 6th, 7th, 8th graders, how to commit suicide. And then they stood back and said, we have no idea, the teachers and folks at the school, that's how compartmentalized they were with cognitive dissonance. There's no way the feds would give them a program that would make kids kill themselves. So what did they do? They increased the anti-suicide, but also death training. And again, I bet it's on YouTube. I haven't even checked. You can find death education's the actual term. In coffins, putting 6-year-olds in and teaching them how to hang themselves. And then you wonder, The DARE program, increased drug use, on record, teaching the kids how to use drugs. And we sort of go, oh, the cops don't know that. No, the average cop doesn't know that. They've been selected because they don't know that. They're in there teaching kids how to use drugs and others how to tattle on people using drugs to fill the private prisons, to prime the children for a life of crime. This is a total war on humanity, folks. This is eugenics. This is population reduction. And we've gotten to the point that I've become so acclimated, I've become so prepared, myself just living with this evil, that it comes out in CBS News, NBC News, London Telegraph, is one of the top stories in the country. They actually found a WorldNet Daily article from back a decade ago about death education at Columbine. Good job. That's what's so good about having WorldNet Daily since '96. They covered it all. You print that for me, guys. See, here's what happens. I see one article, and then 1,000 I've seen over the years literally pop in my mind. And then I think about all the other connections, and I freak out. I'm not kidding. That's why I get so angry on air. That's a defense mechanism against not crying, folks. They're teaching children everywhere how to commit suicide right now. And then they use the increased suicide to increase more suicide training. And they give them suicide mass murder pills. And then Saturday Night Live and Conan O'Brien and Comedy Central and all the other shows, they all make jokes. Every major comedy show in the country, I saw at least 7 or 8 of them. Shows I don't even watch or know the names of, but big folks I've heard the name of, but don't really know who they are. They all made jokes with me about mass murder suicide pills. See, because they had to hide it in plain view. Oh, he says the shootings are happening at schools because they're always on mass murder suicide pills. That's what they should be called. The insert says causes mass murder and suicide. Megalomania. Delusions of grandeur. And even 2020 admitted in Columbine it tripled suicides. Yeah, there it is. Actually, it's my memory. They found it from 13 years ago. I was correct. Look at that. And, of course, that's what WorldNet Daily reported. I remember this from 1996 when somebody sent me the tape, a concerned listener. The tape was aired on British television, and the Atlantic Monthly did a feature story. The producers of 2020 saw the video and decided to do a segment on the death education, which was aired in 1990. See, my memory is photographic on that. But not anymore, folks. Like everything about 5 years ago is almost photographic. Now it's not. That's why I've got to double check myself. I remember that video very well because it was called The Freelance Writer, who was working on the story and sent her some of the newsletters I'd written on the subject. We should get these writers and these people that lost their kids. In fact, I've interviewed Austinites over the years. Once I aired this, all these Austinites contacted me, including one that was a medical doctor. And his 11-year-old daughter, totally happy, totally playing sports, playing basketball, playing lacrosse, champion swimmer. Just watch her having the flashbacks, folks, of the data in this fight. And I just see the yuppies laughing about it as they murder our children by design. It's so funny to them by implanting mind control in their brains to make them kill themselves. They have all the studies and actuaries. They know what percentage of kids will kill themselves when they tell them the sad story of another little girl that was sad for her boyfriend. They know about the phenomenon with Romeo and Juliet when they would do Shakespeare plays. Statistically, to large crowds, a lot of times the women would go kill themselves. So the globalists, that's one data point they got. They did a test of it. They teach them a Romeo-Juliet story, but they'll tell them a real story of a girl and how sad it was that she killed herself for a love. And the little girls are so touched by it and want to have a feeling of connection to the little girl that died. They go to the bathroom and they kill themselves. And the New World Order dances in pleasure. Do you realize the mega evil we're dealing with here? And now they're teaching them to have abortions and saying, Mommy and Daddy don't know. Here's your money, have the abortion. Folks, if you went to a 16-year-old girl and you were 19 years old, they would charge you with statutory rape and probably should. If you were 18, she was 16, it starts becoming borderline in my mind. But the point is older guys shouldn't be preying on young women who really aren't women yet in some cases. But obviously, if you're 20 and you go after an 11-year-old, that's child molestation. You should get 50 years in prison. If you're 20 and you go after a 5-year-old, you should be executed. But the whole point here is that the state comes in and goes, we're going to teach you to have abortions. We're going to let you have inoculations. You have free will. We passed a law saying the age of consent is lowered. This is pervert government coming in and getting in with your kids, teaching them how to kill themselves. Children committing suicide under the age of 16, if you go to the statistics, was unheard of in this country. Last time I checked, there are people under 12 killing themselves by the tens of thousands every year. And it's the same nationwide and worldwide. They are doing this. And see, this is how my brain works. I've got all this incredibly important news, but then Bound goes, hey, this is in your stack. Why didn't you cover this? He's got a daughter. He's shook up by it. The state comes to your 5-year-old daughter. How old's your daughter, 5, 6? 5. I got a 5-year-old daughter. And imagine, they come to him, they tell him a story of a little girl that committed suicide, but since a 5-year-old doesn't know how to go hang themselves in Belgium yet, they're not 11. They tell him, if you decide and sign the paper, honey, we're going to make you go to sleep. You'll never wake up. And this is seen as a right. The vampire, imagine if Nosferatu came to a 5-year-old's bed, the devil incarnate, Count Dracula, and told a little girl, it's your choice if you want me to suck your blood and kill you. And then you'll be undead. Is he a hero? Well, yeah, in the culture, he is a hero. See, death and zombies and destruction, this is a beautiful sacrament. All these little girls killing themselves. This is lusciously loving. And see, I'm the bad man. I am the bad man. I am the bad man. I don't want your 11-year-old daughter to go to a public school in California where she'll be preyed upon by guys that have flunked 4 grades, and basically it's rape. And then when they get her pregnant, you'll say, well, if it's rape, we need to kill the kid. No, that's another crime on top of it. But the point is, the parents, even if you believe in abortion, should be involved in it. No. Now the state, can we cue up that NBC lady in the promo saying your kids don't belong to you? This is the type of evil we're dealing with, and they're not going to stop. And now it's mainstream news, and there's a debate. Well, is it good? First, it's sick kids, it's old people, lower cost. Now it's, no, if you just want to kill yourself, you should have that right. And then now it's, well, if you are a kid, you deserve that right. Listen, folks, if you want to kill yourself and you're an adult, you know how to do it. We don't need the state involved in that. Just like the state shouldn't be involved in marriage. You want to get married, get married. There's an article right there. Canada has death panels. It's out of Slate. And they're, reporting on it. Of course, we have death panels here now. I remember my dad coming to me about 3 years ago, and he said, son, I heard Dr. Blaylock on your show, breaking it down. I went and read the key areas of legislation. He goes, it's true. He goes, and they're now coming to us through the state, getting ready for Obamacare, saying that it's all right. If these medical companies just sell out to the big ones, they'll all be exempt, and it's pure profits. But all the small and regionals that actually bring competition, they're going to be shut down. But it's okay if we just join with the system. And it's written to shut down all the competition and jack up prices and protect the big HMOs and insurance companies. He goes, I can't believe they're going to get away with this. And, of course, since then, it's gotten much worse. But you have to understand, folks, Obama will leave office at the end of this, and all the police state will be in place, and all this will be in place, and they would have passed a few riders to, claim they fixed Obamacare. Obamacare is working great, just like the drug war. Triple the heroin use, double the cocaine use, methamphetamine use. I saw some numbers like 8 times what it was in the 70s. The prison population is the biggest in the world. It's everywhere. They've got shows glorifying it to teach you it's cool to use. I mean, we are under devastating military attack. And I don't just say that. The Pentagon has been running PSYOPs for 60 years domestically. When it was the Department of War before the Pentagon, Edward Bernays was running it and had the declassified mission. Well, he wrote a book about it in the 50s when it was declassified, about how they were to destroy the family and break us down for assimilation into a Brave New World. And Huxley, of course, gave a speech and wrote another book, Brave New World Revisited, explaining that this was actually a battle plan. And his brother headed up UNESCO, now taking over all major heritage sites in the United States and putting them under UN control. And if you criticize that because you're informed and know the entire history of it, those that are ignorant laugh at you as they politically and economically and spiritually burn in front of you. And I'm burning with them. Our country is burning down. Our health is burning down. Our future is burning down. We are being leveraged into debt that the Weimar Republic didn't even see in Germany, pre-Hitlerian Germany. On every historical chart, it is red level flying pig crazy. By the way, it tripled on average suicides from an unknown, didn't even exist rate under 16 with the suicide education in 1990. Since then it rolled out, and the last time I checked, it had more than tripled that number. And now it's, quote, an epidemic, so they have whole auditoriums about don't commit suicide, go see your psychiatrist, your psychologist, here's the school people, and then they push drugs on you that are on record to make you commit suicide at a 14 times higher rate. That was the Eli Lilly suppressed study, 1980, and they finally got approval in 1981 on Prozac, which is just a fluoride-based chemical weapon. And as folks figure out that's killing them, we go, oh, we have a new one that's basically the same drug over and over again. Just like with Obamacare. Okay, we're going to fix it. That'll make it worse. Okay, we'll fix it again. That'll make it worse. Okay, we'll fix it again. That'll make it worse. Haven't you figured out? Let's say you had 3 kids. I'll use this analogy again. And one of them got picked up by a perv creeper van. You know, like the van from Scooby-Doo. What do you call that? The Mystery Machine. The Mystery Machine with some meth head devil worshiper already grabbed your 3-year-old out of the backyard. So and your kid was found dead in a ditch a month later. Let's just give you the image with maggots crawling out of their eye sockets. That's evil right there, okay? Well, you just decide that, well, maybe if it didn't work that time, you wait for the creeper van to come back and you give them your 4-year-old. You kill that one. Now you got a 10-year-old. The 10-year-old says, no, I don't want to get the creeper van. Kids didn't come back. You know, I'm like the 10-year-old. I'm the emperor's new clothes. The emperor's not wearing any clothes, folks. I'm like, I don't want to get in the creeper van. Homeland Security, black uniforms, checkpoints, NSA spying, government narcotics trafficking, red level, red level. The people running our country, when they have a country hostage, start massacring everybody. Red level, red level. Our government oversaw Pol Pot. Red level, we're in danger, they're running Al-Qaeda. Red level, emergency. I mean, all I'm doing is trying to sit here and warn you. People ask why I'm still alive. If they kill me, then it makes me a martyr. It makes me a sage in the archetypal view, and then everyone listens to what I had to say. So they assassinate my name instead. You understand that, ladies and gentlemen? Of course I don't care if they kill me. I have no fear. Because all I fear is not fighting these people and letting them just run on and 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 on, having their way with free humanity over and over and over and over and over again. Let's get the guest on at 20 after. We'll keep them 20 minutes the next hour if they can do it. If they can't, we'll just move them to another day. I've got to get to these calls and cover news like I said I did. It's a good guest. I want to get him on, but I need to go to the calls if I said I would. I know I'm right. It's so much more horrible than words. There's so many crimes, so much evil, so much they're doing, so much connection, so much manifest scientific rollout and all their own white papers admitting when I reverse engineer their operations and then read their white papers later, and it's word for word what I've said on air, but from their perspective. I mean, I literally have studied these people so long and so much, I know more than most of their top people do. And I realize where this plan's going, and it's so horrible. They're going to use every evil person, every evil vice, every evil control freak to man their takeover. And then they believe they're going to virtuously expunge the earth of 99+% of us. They tell their minions 90%, and other minions 80%. I think they'll be part of those that get to live and be part of it. And that's all the big secret for the 20 academic percent who will say, well, of course we're going to kill everybody. There's too many. And you're like, but my sombrero is racist. They go, well, that's just to control you. So we socially put ourselves on the moral high ground. So you're an actual military operative. Yes, we are. And you are foolish to have not joined us. But they plan to kill you too. Well, you're just on a power trip about this. You just think you're part of the establishment and hate humanity. And then they're always like, I don't want to talk to you anymore. See, because then the little power trips over once I point out to them, okay, even if you're just a psychopath control freak or whatever, or get off on the power trip of this plan and thinking you're part of it because you've been let in at a lower level to some of it, this is targeting everybody. And they just don't get it. And they go, well, look at the problems of population and blah, 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 and ecological disasters. And I'm like, yes, but you don't wreck humanity so that it can then be more easily exterminated. And, of course, the globalists have meetings and it leaks that they're panicking. The scourge contagion's out of control. That's what we're called. We've got to limit it, and it's mutating and resisting. The program isn't working. Get the AI computers in. Oh, my God, we've got to save the Earth. And you know, they have the Rockefeller University meetings when Oprah's there, and they sit around with the Rockefellers and Rothschilds. This all comes out, and they discuss, we've got to accelerate the program. But if we continue to accelerate, they will actually become aware of it. We've got to have a ambient background program to raise it slowly so that they don't resist. Yes, but they're actually adapting to that. You're using the adaptive strategy, so they will submit and adapt to our program of soft kill. But they're actually adapting to the overall program. Oh, reports of shots fired at Los Angeles airport. So they'll fearmonger that with trauma-based mind control. Statistically, gun crimes down 49% in the last 20 years, but the minions in every study think it's way up. That's mind control. We'll be right back.
Big business has discovered the preparedness market, and that makes it difficult to know where to go and who to trust. MyPatriotSupply.com is owned and operated by patriots just like you. Has the best prices on storable food, non-GMO seeds, water filtration devices, home canning equipment, survival and self-reliance books, and more. MyPatriotSupply.com has old-fashioned values and the absolute best customer service in the industry. Look for the deal of the day. Unique, affordable survival supplies that fit anyone's budget. Get same-day shipping on all orders and free shipping on orders over $49. Call 866-229-0927, 866-229-0927, or visit MyPatriotSupply.com for emergency preparedness, self-reliance, and food independence. Shop with a name you know and a name you can trust. Before it's time to survive, it's time to prepare. MyPatriotSupply.com.
When disaster strikes, what will you do when the power goes out and the gas lines go down? Do you have an emergency backup plan in place? Well, Stove in a Can needs to be part of it. Stove in a Can is portable, safe, easy to use, cooks food for hours, and boils water in minutes. Propane tanks are a hassle, and lighter fluid and gas can be dangerous. Don't wait until it's too late. Order yours today for only $29.99 at stoveinacan.com. Special bundle offers available with a 100% satisfaction guarantee at stoveinacan.com.
Available only at hempusa.org. It's the first aid stick, and it's a must-have in any medical kit. With fast, chemical-free healing, the first aid stick stops bleeding, kills bacteria, is great for acne, insect bites, minor cuts and abrasions, will last for years, and is just $11.95. Everyone needs the first aid stick in their emergency kit. Call 888-910-4367. 888-910-4367. The first aid stick, only at hempusa.org.
Protecting your home with a security system is a must. But when it comes to protecting your family, your home, and belongings, there's no need to sign a long-term contract. Listen, there is some real scum in the alarm business, cashing in by locking you into long, punishing contracts. Not with Simply Safe Home Security. They're the good guys. You can trust Simply Safe to protect your family. Simply Safe was created by a Harvard Business School engineer, and it's revolutionary. You'll get 24-hour protection for just $14.99 a month. There are no hidden fees and no contracts. You'll save thousands. Plus, you're protected by their 100% money-back guarantee. Protect yourself against home invasions and break-ins. Order your Simply Safe system now and receive a wireless keychain remote, a $25 gift, free. So don't waste your time dealing with scum. Visit GetSimplySafe.com. GetSimplySafe.com. GetSimplySafe.com.
Go to your calls. for the first 20 minutes of the next hour. Then we have a special guest joining us. Look at the psychology of what the mainstream media, the dinosaur media, the dying media calls conspiracy theories. Very important. Look at the study showing those that call themselves conspiracy theorists on average. It shows in major studies are actually more accurate, more informed, and just common sense. They would call the founding fathers conspiracy theorists, saying you don't want a big giant government that takes your guns. They'll do that to enslave you. That's just the case in every point in history. Just absolute common sense fact. It'd be like telling a fish don't come up and grab on a hook that's got a worm on it. I mean, there's a person up there that's going to grab you and take you away. But then you can just tell the fish, it's a conspiracy theory, bite the hook. They go, okay, Obamacare won't raise your premiums or kick you off. You bite. The fish is like, you lied to me if it could talk. I know I did. Now I'm going to fillet you. They're literally telling you, don't have instincts. Don't be common sense. Don't question. That's a conspiracy theory. While you can go look up death education since 1990 under the Department of Education, massively increasing suicides in this country of small children. And now, under the new rights in Europe they're trying to pass here, children as young as 5 years old can decide to kill themselves. Oh, sorry, Mom and Dad, we convinced your 5-year-old that they want to die. They're going to go to a facility, they're going to be given lethal injection. And then the parents go, well, that's liberal. And then they always sell it like, oh, it's for in case they're sick and people won't let them. No. No, it's all about killing Granny. It's all about getting rid of people. And you're all going to find out. You know, here's the news, no matter what happens to me. This stuff's real. My analysis is right on target because the globalists are all public. It's like, I've used this analogy, I'll use it again. It'd be like if I said Monday Night Football, they have NFL games. And then there was NFL games came on and somebody went, man, how do you know that? You are so smart. I'm like, it's in the TV guide, it's online, or it's in this book that on this channel, at such and such time, who's playing? And they're like, that's unbelievable. But see, if it's not knowledge they know, even if you have the book, like, here's the book. Here's Eco Science, where the White House Science Czar says they put sterilants in the water. They're just like, no, that isn't real. I'm not going to look at it. Please look at it. Ah, yeah, whatever, you kook. And I understand why they do that, because they don't want to admit it. And here's the deal. I don't like the dumbed-down mass of people, but I really don't like the globalists that have helped grease the skids towards this. And let me tell you something, folks. Society is degenerating faster. I have never been more freaked out and concerned than I am now. It is degenerating fast. And this country's really in a depression. But nobody's telling the minions that, and so they're all freaking out because they think they're all failures and that everybody else is a success because they watch television, and society is just going haywire right now, and I know you know that, and it's time to get on your knees, folks, before God and ask for guidance. That's the only thing that can hold me together, only thing that can hold you together. I'm telling you right now, there are no atheists in foxholes. I don't know what God you're praying to, but we got to reach for it to higher power and ask for justice here. Because let me tell you, folks, when they're teaching 11-year-olds how to commit suicide, knowing it's going to make them kill themselves, and I'm a bad guy because I'm aware of this and I'm warning people, the world's in a lot of trouble. Before we go any further, we do have Survival Shield, the nascent iodine patented system developed by Dr. Group with Russian scientists 20-plus years ago. And this is a product nobody wanted, nobody knew about, nobody cared about. They said this was the biggest secret out there, and I looked into it for 2+ months. It's been life-changing for me, all the amazing things it's done for me. Check it out, InfoWarsLife.com or 888-253-3139. It's going to sell out again soon, so you better get your orders in, InfoWars Life.
This is GCN, the Genesis Communications Radio Network.
Protecting your home with a security system is a must. But when it comes to protecting your family, your home, and belongings, there's no need to sign a long-term contract. Listen, there is some real scum in the alarm business, cashing in by locking you into long, punishing contracts. Not with Simply Safe Home Security. They're the good guys. You can trust Simply Safe to protect your family. Simply Safe was created by a Harvard Business School engineer, and it's revolutionary. You'll get 24-hour protection for just $14.99 a month. There are no hidden fees and no contracts. You'll save thousands. Plus, you're protected by their 100% money-back guarantee. Protect yourself against home invasions and break-ins. Order your Simply Safe system now and receive a wireless keychain remote, a $25 gift, free. So don't waste your time dealing with scum. Visit GetSimplySafe.com. GetSimplySafe.com. GetSimplySafe.com.
Waging war on corruption. Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network. Big Brother, mainstream media, government cover-ups. You want answers? Well, so does he. He's Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network. And now, live from Austin, Texas, Alex Jones.
Thomas Jefferson was a true liberal, meaning more human freedom. The modern progressives are a hyper-cult of authoritarians who are taking over the world using scientific social engineering to destroy society. They're cohorts of the establishment fake conservatives. I'm your host, Alex Jones. We're into hour number 2. We've got huge Obamacare news, huge political correctness news, Israel's warplanes strike Syria again. That's all coming up, and a special guest that I'll tell you about in the next segment. Right now, you've been holding. I appreciate you calling. Charles in Florida, you're on the air, sir. Welcome.
Thank you, Alex. I'm honored to finally get to talk to you.
Well, the pleasure's all mine, my friend.
I actually had one comment for you, and then I had a question for you.
Sure.
I'm a stellar listener. I listen to you often as I possibly can, and I wanted to just say, in Destin, Florida, you have followers. Just keep leading. We're following you. We're listening to you daily, and we look at you as our leader. So please, sir, keep leading. And 2, the question I have for you is when the next time you're going to have Russell Blaylock on. I'm glad you mentioned him today because that's actually the question I had for you. Was the next time. I remember him talking about the CPT codes of the healthcare system, and when maybe we were going to get an update.
Well, you know, it's funny. It's funny. Dr. Blaylock's number changed. We tried to get him on a few weeks ago, but it was funny. I was just talking before you were on air about trying to get Dr. Blaylock back on. During a break, I was saying, where's Blaylock? And they were literally on him, calling his wife's cell number that we just got via email as you went on air, unscreened. So, talk about, is that synchronicity or serendipity? Synchronicity. So yeah, we're going to get Blaylock on, who, again, was the most accurate forecaster who actually read the entire 13,000 pages of writers. He actually scanned over it. And he just said, this is going to wreck everything by design. The website's not going to work. It's not meant to work. It's meant to wreck everything.
Oh, yeah.
But doesn't it just make you mad to watch him doing this to the country? And you watch an Obama rally, they all look at him like dogs that are begging for food or something. Just totally trusting, totally loving, like children getting in a van with a killer. I mean, it's knowing, it's pure evil. You know you're looking at the devil. You know you're looking at the betrayer, the destroyer, and you can't help these people. They're never going to listen. They don't want to be helped. It's so sad, man. Go ahead.
People are waking up. People were deceived by him at first. Now people are looking. They're listening to people like you. They're understanding, and they're waking up. And where I'm from, they're waking up. They're figuring out what's going on, and we are moving forward. And we're following leaders like you, Alex.
Well, God bless you, brother. I'm no leader. I'm just somebody fighting back. I've just got the basic instinct to not want to be a slave. Let's go to another caller. Mary in Washington, welcome.
Yes, hi, Alex.
Hi.
Hi. Alex, I wondered if you would be kind enough to let me finish my thought before you jump in. I'm a little bit nervous. But I've been talking about this for years. I think that overpopulation just causes tremendous amount of suffering, especially amongst children. People who have children who have made no plan to care for them are putting their children in jeopardy. Those are the children that wind up as sex slaves or in the factories that make your iPhone. with the suicide net.
I tell you what, I'm going to come back to you, Mary. I got to go to break. Don't hang up. And I'm going to come back. And listen, I get that in some areas there's overpopulation, but it's the way the economy's been designed. If you read the Population Commission report from '49, I'm going to come back and let you make your point, then I'll counter on that. The issue is, even if you think the poor people need to be exterminated, are you going to make that decision? It's like in the new Superman, Man of Steel, when he's talking to Zod, Kal-El, or Superman's dad, he says, we've got to exterminate the degenerate bloodlines. And Superman's dad, who's the scientist, goes, who's going to decide, Zod? You? I mean, you going to kill these poor kids? You going to take them and euthanize them? And then use their body for fertilizer?
Financial experts are certain that within 12 to 36 months, the American economy will collapse, pushing most Americans into terrifying poverty, like third world slums. Facing this unstoppable horror and knowing so many are unprepared, a group of military vets, engineers, survival experts, and a former FDIC bank inspector pooled their knowledge and experience to create LocustsOnTheHorizon.com. Locusts on the Horizon is a book over 1,100 pages in length, which many are now calling one of the best of its kind. And this book can save families from the worst an economic collapse can bring. The lives of your family are priceless, and you can start your plan to save them today for only $4.99. Not many preppers can actually afford a survival retreat, but virtually anyone can afford to implement the plan of Locusts on the Horizon. Locusts on the Horizon is available now for only $4.99 on Amazon.com, and it's readable with free software on any computer, tablet, or smartphone. Your time is running out. To not prepare would be suicide. Prepare now at LocustsOnTheHorizon.com. That's LocustsOnTheHorizon.com.
With over 3,000 years of historic use, pure silver continues to be one of nature's most reliable and effective agents against fighting viruses, mold, fungus, bacteria, pathogens, and parasites. At Silver Lungs, we have developed a reliable and easy-to-use full production system for creating endless pure nano-silver solutions right from the convenience and comfort of your home. Your self-produced nano-silver solutions can be applied topically to the skin. For many who are new to silver that wish to try silver for the first time, we offer a full line of consumables and cosmetics, such as our 2-ounce nano-silver nasal sprays, our nano-silver soap, and our most popular product, the all-natural nano-silver gel. Visit www.silverlungs.com to learn more about the industry-leading technology of the Silver Lungs system. That's www.silverlungs.com.
Alex Jones here, and I want to tell you about a longtime friend of the show, My Patriot Supply. As you might remember, this is the company that stood up to the DHS and exposed FEMA's secret plan to begin hoarding emergency survival food. It has always been my belief that it's key to stand behind companies who share the same values as their fellow patriots. My Patriot Supply brings us their exclusive Patriot Pantry brand, along with many other fine preparedness products. I personally store and use their high-quality products. It tastes great, and it's easy to store for up to 25 years. For a limited time, you can save $50 instantly on a 4-week supply of food, along with other special offers. Visit mypatriotsupply.com/Alex today. With the New World Order making rapid advances on every front, it is essential to prepare with My Patriot Supply today.
Big Brother, mainstream media, government cover-ups. You want answers? Well, so does he. He's Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network. And now, live from Austin, Texas, Alex Jones.
Local KXAN 590 News Radio here in Austin have reported a lot in the last few months that most people parking at the Austin-Bergstrom Airport, long-term, short-term, it doesn't matter, get their cars broken into now by the government, and they leave a little note saying we've searched your car without a warrant. And now, as I predicted years ago, they want to move the checkpoints out to the entrance to the airport because a bomber might attack, and then it'll be to the highway and then everywhere, to a random cornfield behind your house or to your home because, you know, we don't know you don't have dead bodies in your basement, but you can't go to government and do that. Why, that's national security. Why, even getting around an NSA building will threaten to arrest you if you even dare come and ask us a question. You're a slave. And then meanwhile, there's been some type of shooting at LAX. Several people have been injured. Reportedly, someone got a gun through security and then shot people. This is after last week they were calling for big X-ray scanners outside the airports, searching everyone and looking through your cars. And now they have SWAT teams running around the parking lots, grandstanding, shutting off highways, with police running around with their machine guns. So mass shootings are down. In general, school shootings are up slightly. Statistically, they're still very rare. Overall gun crime down 49%. FBI's own numbers. But the average American thinks, because of the conditioning, that we're in an epidemic of shootings because the media does this. But the good news is there's a report out today. CNN has record low in its history ratings, plunging. And the approval ratings of all the establishment folks, the politicians, are plunging as well. There it is, full-body scan technology developing into roving street vans in good old America. But the border's wide open and deportations are at record low. You have any idea how bad it is for you to go through a scanner that shoots through your body and through the metal? I've had a radiologist on who said that it's about 100 times stronger than a chest X-ray. I mean, boy, you can just euthanize us right there. Now, we have a caller, Mary, who got cut off at the last break. So I wanted to recap what she was saying. I was talking about Belgium and the Netherlands and others saying, oh, for the earth. That's what they're teaching people. If your child wants to commit suicide for any reason, there's no parental rights, they can kill themselves. Just like parental rights they're getting rid of here, saying your kid can have an abortion when they're 10 or 11 or get inoculations in California without parental consent. This is the state coming in, being the child molesters they are, of their minds, their future, their health. Parents can't pack lunches, and if we want to convince your kid to commit suicide, they will for the earth. And now that's not even big news. It's in NBC News. They're like, maybe it is good. You don't kill yourself. Parents, you don't have a right. And we're going to teach your kids in government schools to kill themselves, just like ABC News has had to admit years ago with death education, massively increased suicides. Yeah, teaching kids how to commit suicide in, quote, prevention makes them commit suicide because it's teaching them about how to do it and introducing the idea. They know that as social engineers. But, Mary, you were, I mean, repeat what you said earlier. It was pretty heavy because, you know, the average real progressive liberal will admit, they'll say, well, there's too many people, so we've got to reduce population. But if you like a sombrero when you go to Mexico to hang on your wall, you're racist. Or if you have a brown bag, you're racist. Or London Telegraph, man banned from Facebook for liking faggots. That's the name of a fried meatball dish that I get when I'm in England. Says that in the restaurants. That's the name. It means burned meat. But because somebody took that name, well, just like Hallmark won't say deck the halls anymore with a gay apparel, happy apparel. Because, and if they now say dad's a dirty word in France and in many areas of the U.S., it's banned. Because they say, I'm offended by dad, by father and mother, it's banned. That's mind control. But let's go back to her to have the floor, Mary, from Washington. Tell us, repeat what you said and continue.
Well, first of all, I didn't say anything about killing people. It's just a coincidence that you happen to be talking about that. I got on the phone. I called just after 9 o'clock and waited an hour. I'm just talking about the fact. I mean, and I was one of those children who are vulnerable. My father tried to put me off. I mean, my mother.
Ma'am, repeat. What you said first, so it's congruent with what you're saying now.
I'm just saying people, I'm not talking about abortion or killing people. I'm just talking about people being more cautious, more careful, more thoughtful about having children. They have children that they have no chance of taking care of. They don't have the means to do it. They wind up joining the military and traveling around the world killing other people's children in order to support their own. Or they cut down the entire rainforest, or they do whatever. Or they take jobs in the TSA where they've got their hands down their pants so they can go home and feed their, cretin, Beavis and Butthead kid. These people will do anything. They won't ask any questions. They can't be discerning anymore. They're desperate, and it's part of the reason.
No, I agree. The giant... No, that's what the elite have done. They've actually incentivized with welfare giant dumbed-down masses to be the enforcers over the producers. I agree. But then they know that it's going to get the working class to finally agree with exterminating these people in the final equation. And what a diabolical plan.
People are overwhelmed. They're too overwhelmed by poverty to address the corruption, and the corporations depend on this. They depend on poverty. I mean, look at Walmart.
No, that's why they want to flood the U.S. with desperate third-world populations and their own admissions to destroy the wages, just like Obamacare was meant to kick half the population down to part-time and then go on welfare. Yeah, no, it's a total takeover.
Why hasn't the subject been addressed? I mean, this horse was let out of the barn decades ago. It should have been addressed. The fact that taxpayers pay for these kids on welfare, and my Irish Catholic mother had 7 and shouldn't have had 1. So it's nothing to do with race. The fact that these people have been, have not been at least discouraged. The conversation hasn't even been had.
Well, do you understand what Mike Judge did in Idiocracy? That's a great work of history, basically, put in satire in the futurist satire. You've got the football player who has an IQ of about 75, who has all the cheerleaders, and he says, I'm going to have babies with all of you. He says something else. Then you've got the 2 yuppies that have high IQs who decide not to have kids. That's the real issue here, and the IQ is plunging. But what I'm saying is, as you said, the elite is also trying to dumb down the mass as fast as they can while creating an army of slugs out of the underclass to then wage parasitic war on the producers. Which then forces producers to join the technocrats out of survival when the technocrats also intend to take us out. So I'm saying, how do you get out of this when the globalists that have like 200 IQs but are very cold have done this? That's why they've told me. They've said, in off-record discussions, you should really join us. This is your only hope. And I just cannot join something this evil. I don't know what you do. I mean, what do you do?
Alex?
Yes.
Alex, well, first of all, if I'm not mistaken, the middle class was created by the bubonic plague. And that I just say that to make the point that
no, that's true.
Scarcity of labor increases wages. And now people are breeding recklessly, essentially providing the materials for Soylent Green, and we're just being churned up in the machine. People are being used.
Well, I've been meaning to have this real discussion with folks and really be honest about it. It's true. But I indict the globalists because in their own admissions, they are after the smartest and best people to destroy us. And so they're not trying to make a better Krypton like Zod said he was wanting to do to create that analogy. They want to ensure the degenerate bloodline rules everything. And they've decided that humans are trash, period, and they're going to merge with machines and go to Alpha Centauris. So I don't know what you do when the general public doesn't understand there's a breakaway civilization that's already made the decision to bring in world government to then force out and exterminate everybody. And your only hope is to basically join Elysium. That's what it is, a breakaway civilization, but here on the earth under government and corporate reservations. And then the yuppies, all they can do is laugh at me and then try to do whatever they can to join the sub-establishment just so they can feel powerful. I don't know what you do. I appreciate your call. Very, very serious thoughts there on air. Oh, it makes me sick. Let's talk to Larry in Texas. Larry, you're on the air.
How you doing, Mr. Alex Jones?
I'm doing all right.
Oh, okay. I was calling in to tell you, I don't really hear anybody talking about early American history concerning like Charles Thompson and the role he played in establishing the U.S. government with his ties with Native Americans. And then my second one, and I'll get off the phone, most black people right now have become Democrats, but after slavery, Republicans helped blacks open up the first schools in the South. And not only that, they didn't really become Democrats until the New Deal was passed because that's what got black people from moving for themselves to getting complacent on the system. And
that's right. Statistically, before the New Deal and the Great Leap Forward, I call it that, it was the Great Society of LBJ. Black folks were more independent and on average in big cities had more wealth than white people. On average, and that's why they did that and sold it as a great thing. So you go from 10% illegitimacy to 90+% illegitimacy in just 2 generations, and now the same plan they've done to black folks is being deployed against everybody.
Only way I visualize it being stopped is with unity, because it's a fight out there for everybody. It's not just a one-man thing, because at the end of the day, if they win over here, they can win everywhere else.
Well, that's right, and that's really the answer is independence. And the Royal Commission on Population, put out in '49, said if we industrialize the third world, they would stop having children. They would have 1.3 children on average, and then we could fix all the problems. But we don't want to do that. We're going to use giant population blooms as a weapon against the first world to lower it down so we can control and dominate everybody. And then we'll just kill everybody and deal with it down the line. But the British Empire hasn't been able to dominate everything yet. along with the U.S. empire. So we'll just go ahead and do this and then deal with it later. So the very people claiming they're dumbing us down and poisoning us to reduce our population are the very ones that helped engineer it. So do you see how they fund both sides of it? They always do. They run Al-Qaeda, they fund it, then they fund the fighting of it. And so we can't fly into Africa and be in like big golden skyscrapers and check out all the cool real estate. We can't go into Mexico and it'd be a great society and great people. And we're soon going to be like those places, total hellholes. It's just they're going to wreck everything, herd us into compact cities while they live in big armored compounds in the countryside and get life extension technology. I mean, that's it. That's their official plan. How horrible is that? And they have helped engineer all this environmental degradation, and they don't care about leaking reactors. Alex Jones here, and I want to tell you about a longtime friend of the show, My Patriot Supply. As you might remember, this is the company that stood up to the DHS and exposed FEMA's secret plan to begin hoarding emergency survival food. It has always been my belief that it's key to stand behind companies who share the same values as their fellow patriots. My Patriot Supply brings us their exclusive Patriot Pantry brand, along with many other fine preparedness products. I personally store and use their high-quality products. It tastes great, and it's easy to store for up to 25 years. For a limited time, you can save $50 instantly on a 4-week supply of food, along with other special offers. Visit mypatriotsupply.com/Alex today. With the New World Order making rapid advances on every front, it is essential to prepare with My Patriot Supply today.
To thank you for being a loyal listener, we have a limited time freebie offer for you. Claim your free heirloom tomato seeds, just pay shipping, right now at 123freeseeds.com. These aren't ordinary seeds. These are heirloom, non-genetically modified super seeds that are open-pollinated and can be grown, harvested, and replanted endlessly. These survival seeds are actually more valuable than gold in a crisis. Go to 123freeseeds.com and you can get an airtight storage packet of 150 super seeds free while supplies last to say thank you for being a loyal listener. First come, first served. Just cover shipping. Go to 123freeseeds.com now to see if your free heirloom seeds are still available. That's 123freeseeds.com.
Great news, pure water lovers. BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com has a special discount offer for all GCN listeners. You can't do better than a Big Berkey for economy. For only 1.7 cents a gallon, a single set of filters can last for 5 to 10 years. There's none better than a Big Berkey for emergency preparedness as a backup water source. And you just can't beat a Big Berkey to remove dangerous chlorine, all types of fluoride, pathogenic bacteria, cysts, parasites, and unhealthy byproducts from municipal water. Berkey water filter systems are even powerful enough to purify stagnant pond water. For the gold standard in water filters, get a Big Berkey at BigBerkeyWaterFilters.com. And all GCN listeners get 5% off all ceramic filter systems. For details, call 1-877-99-BERKEY. That's 877-99-BERKEY. Big Berkey Water Filters, for the love of clean water.
In the U.S., 1 in every 50 homes will have a break-in this year. Burglars call it smash and grab. Police call it robbery. We call it avoidable. We are Fake TV, a simple electronic device that can fool even professional burglars. Fake TV easily plugs into any outlet and simulates the changing colors of a television. To a burglar, it looks like someone must be home watching TV, so they'll likely move on to an easier target. At only $29.95, Fake TV costs less than a month of most alarm monitoring plans and comes with free shipping. Order your Fake TV by calling 877-5-FAKE-TV or go to faketv.com. That's 877-532-5388 or faketv.com. Fake TV, the burglar deterrent.
just now being reported by Fox News, a TSA worker was shot at LAX. Notice these shootings always happen in gun-free areas where you go through all this security and many times are very suspicious. But we'll see what happened here. You never know. If it was a misfire, they'll probably say it was on purpose. I mean, we don't know. We're just speculating. But known liars, we can't just believe whatever they say. We are seeing some interesting anomalies we're looking into right now. But should we question a government that's known for lying and a power structure known for lying, even when the truth would serve them better? Well, if you do question known liars, your neighbor or anyone else, let's say your wife's been caught cheating on you 50 times and catch her in bed with another man. If she says, I didn't, and then you say, I don't believe you, she just says you're a conspiracy theorist, and she's won the argument. And riding shotgun with us this hour, a little bit into the next, if he wants to, because we'll cover a bunch of news and take calls and get his take on it, is Lance deHaven-Smith. He's a professor, and he's written a book that has a great cover. I haven't read it yet, but I can't wait to. It's Conspiracy Theory in America. And I've seen some of the studies in the news that it's based on. Conspiracy theorists are sane, government dupes are crazy in these studies. So I want to look at that with him today, and then just go over some of this. Because just 15 years ago, I was a conspiracy theorist saying they had whole floors of telecoms with NSA hubs in them. Of course, that was in the Telecommunications Act. The funding of it, and I had whistleblowers on, but their answer was just say, oh, that's the crazy guy. You know, that's illegal. We don't do that. Now we know, of course, they were. And it's the same thing over and over again. They call me a conspiracy theorist, saying that they're getting a World Heritage Site UN thing for the Alamo, which does let them bring in easement land control, just like when you get special designations for, you know, your private property or whatever. And it's a fact. Congress has admitted that. Well, they just call it a conspiracy theory and say the UN's not involved at all. They actually lie to their viewers. We played that clip from local news yesterday, and it doesn't matter. So Lance deHaven-Smith joins us. We appreciate him coming on. deHaven-Smith.com is his website, and he's the School of Public Administration Policy at Florida State University, former president of the Florida Political Science Association. I'm not going to go over his whole bio here, but he's got peer-reviewed journals. deHaven-Smith coined the term state crimes against democracy to name the type of crime the conspiracy theory labeled dangerous for us speaking. Well, I think that's outrageous. Anybody that thinks government ever does anything wrong, or corporations, is obviously quite mad. Would you like to apologize, sir, for your heresy here on air up front?
I understand what you're saying. It's really quite amazing that this attitude has taken hold in the United States. We're a country with a long history of being skeptical and suspicious and worried about conspiracies against the people's liberties and interests. And to suddenly, and this happens really basically after World War II, we have this conspiracy theory label that smears anybody who raises any suspicions about elite political criminality.
When the history books, all it is elite political criminality. The few times they're not total criminals are the rare jewels.
That's exactly right. There's a famous historian in the United States, he's no longer alive, Charles Beard, who is the only historian to be elected president of both the American Historical Society and the American Political Science Association. And he basically said, well, what history is uncovering conspiracies. So that was the key to it. And he was well known in the early 1900s because he had argued that the American Constitution basically protected the interest of the people who had written it, and that, in effect, they had conspired to develop a government that served their interests. He had a theory about World War II. He said that President Roosevelt knew that Pearl Harbor was going to happen, knew when it was going to happen, and failed to warn the military commanders in the Pacific because he wanted to mobilize American outrage to enter World War II. The book was a bestseller for 3 months. It received a lot of notoriety, but it's basically been airbrushed out of American history. If you go and look in the American Political Science Review, it is mentioned one time when the book first came out. It's never mentioned again.
And this was the most famous person at the time putting this book out, and I am familiar with the book. But we're about to go to break. Long segment coming up. I'm going to give you the floor to break down from your historical, scientific, forensic research what we really are facing, what this system of denial, of rational concern and thought, or how you quantify it. Because really think about it, folks. American spirit, for all our problems, we were exceptional in that we were the most untrusting of the power structure. So we became the most wealthy because we weren't being screwed as much. Now we're becoming slaves again because we were taught not to be skeptical.
We're on the march. The empire's on the run. Alex Jones and the GCN Radio Network.
When you're out on the road, the last place you want to be is on the road. But if the unfortunate happens, you'll be glad you were wearing diamond gussets.
There's a place down in Tennessee where they make blue diamond gusset jeans. They so pride in every stitch, guarantee you'll love the way they fit. They put a diamond gusset in the crotch where you need it most. Blue diamond gussets got it, others don't.
We turn jeans inside out. Diamond gusset jeans. Made in the USA with unparalleled quality. Our Defender motorcycle jeans combine gusset comfort with Kevlar protection, so you can ride all day with confidence. Order yours at gusset.com. Diamond gusset jeans got it, others don't.
When an emergency happens, you'll be left to fend for yourself and your family. An outbreak of contagious disease can happen anywhere, and the threat of bioterrorism is always at hand. Because we're faced with more diseases than ever before, we need a better solution than ever before. Fortunately, there's a simple, effective way to protect yourself. Supernatural Silver offers a safe and effective means of fighting pathogens and can help defeat the root of these problems. Supernatural Silver is effective against more than 500 different disease-causing pathogens without encouraging drug resistance and without side effects. Supernatural Silver is the #1 choice of thousands of people for immune system support. Go to supernaturalsilver.com and give you and your loved ones a fighting chance. That's supernaturalsilver.com. Use the promo code October 2013 for 20% off your entire order and like us on Facebook.
Cal-Ben Soap Company can save you thousands of dollars and give you good old-fashioned real soap that is triple concentrated and made from the highest quality vegetable and coconut oils. See them on the web, www.5starsoap.com, or call 1-800-340-7091 for a free catalog and buy American-made products. Order the sampler, a 1 to 2 month supply, or get a 1 to 2 year supply of soaps for all your cleaning needs. You're getting soap products twice as good as what you're using now. This is an amazing deal, and you will love the way real soap makes your skin feel. Call 1-800-340-7091 or visit www.5starsoap.com. Alex and his staff have used these earth-friendly, pure soaps for years. See them on the web, www.5starsoap.com, or call 1-800-340-7091 for a catalog.
Rallying patriots worldwide in defense of human liberty. It's Alex Jones.
Generals gathered in their masses.
We're going to go back to our guest here in a moment. He'll be with us for the rest of the hour and then a little bit in the next hour as I cover news with him and get his take on different news articles from his historical perspective. Professor Lance deHaven-Smith with his great new book. Can't wait to read it, Conspiracy Theory in America. We're going to go back to him in a moment. Speaking of conspiracy theories, I know that Monsanto, even in an issue that I covered on air more than 10 years ago, National Geographic admitted their plan was to basically make everything GMO and patented so that you had to go to them to get seeds, and that plants didn't produce seeds anymore. They would literally engineer and own the world that way. A conquest. And I'm paraphrasing what they said, but they're public about this. And you could see Archer Daniels Midland and other GMO companies, doing the same thing. And then the Rockefeller Foundation with the UN, going back about 6 years ago, funded all over the world more than 14. I think last time I checked it was 16. I'm showing you a Daily Mail article today. Building armored doomsday seed vaults of original seeds that aren't GMO. And Monsanto's even involved funding this. So they plan to take over with their stuff, and then I guess later, like Moonraker or something, repopulate the earth with the stuff that's original in case they need to. When I mention stuff like this, they've had national media say Jones is crazy and says the elites have secret seed vaults. I mean, that's their answer to, it's almost like intellectual laziness, or not almost, where it's beyond just the state saying don't criticize us or don't look into us. That doesn't exist. The opposite of the Americana system. It's more than that. It's the individual has embraced it after World War II, and we're the good guys, we can do no wrong, because it's a cop-out. It's a reason to not worry about anything and just be a spectator. Now, the reason I bring this up is, just in case we come a cropper, that's the headline, the doomsday vault that keeps seeds for every type of agriculture mankind relies upon, should a disaster ever wipe them out. And then it goes through, they have them for animals, plants and animals, and other systems. But the point is, that's why we promote getting non-GMO, non-hybrid, open-pollinated seeds in the InfoWars store seed area, the widest selection of these anywhere at the lowest price, InfoWarsStore.com. So you can give this holiday season coming up, folks, high-quality seeds, some to save. They saved for 100 years. Well, they broke into the Egyptian burial chambers of the pharaohs and were able to plant papyrus from 3,000 years ago. But the point is that these last for a long time. Plant some, save some. It's a great family thing to do. It's just an example of how they don't want us to grow our own food. They don't want us to be off the grid. They want us dependent. They want us on welfare. And they admit in the Cloward and Piven strategy, it's not my opinion, this is about domestication, domination, control. So again, everything at InfoWarsStore.com is about getting involved, getting informed, getting self-sufficient, and a great way to start is with high-quality seeds. We've got about 10 different companies in there, all the best at the lowest prices, InfoWarsStore.com in the InfoWars Seed Center, or call toll-free. They can answer your questions and send you a catalog if you'd like, 888-253-3139. And we just so happen to have just gotten more of this in. The Survival Shield atomic patented nascent iodine that I've been taking for over 2 months. I've lost weight. I feel great. My thyroid health is amazing. Just as Dr. Group said, this was the one thing that we should roll out the InfoWars Lifeline with, is the Survival Shield that helps detoxify and block the stuff that's in the same area of the periodic table, the chlorine and the other halogens like fluoride. So it's all available at InfoWarsLife.com or InfoWarsStore.com. More of it is in, and we have geared up production of it because it was a very small little laboratory. It's been around for 40 years that did it for us and still made in loving little batches. But we got a bigger batch in, but it's probably going to be gone very quickly. But we're shipping these out as fast as we can. If you want to get the Survival Shield and promote health and liberty in your life and help promote this show and fund our operation, InfoWarsLife.com or 888-253-3139. And by the way, I'm not selling the book. I haven't read it yet, but I've read the studies it's based on and the synopsis. I will try to read it this weekend. I'm not selling it, but everybody should get it and give it to skeptic friends at deHaven-Smith.com or Amazon.com. Really impressive breakdown that I've scanned over in the book, Conspiracy Theory in America, Discovering America. And, sir, again, you just had a few minutes in the last segment. I want to give you the floor now in this long segment. If you were talking to the general public, folks that weren't skeptical and really thinking and understand what's happening, what would you say to the general public that really wears their ignorance like a suit of armor and is proud? Almost the religion of ignorance is what I call it. How would you try to reach out to them and wake them up to our collective peril?
I would tell them to do what I did that woke me up. I mean, I was just a regular college professor. I saw the 2000 election in Florida being stolen by the people who were responsible for administering the system. And that shocked me, and I was shocked that it was not investigated after the election, and I was shocked that it was just buried, basically. But once I was kind of shocked by that, I did something, and I just simply wrote a list of all of the assassinations and defense failures and economic problems and bioterrorism attacks and faulty intelligence, and I just made this list. It was about 15 or 20 of these crimes, and there wasn't a name for these. The founders had called them high crimes, but that has kind of dropped out. I think it's a very good term, but if you think about it, we have names for juvenile crime, white-collar crime, hate crime, and yet for these very serious, grave crimes against the organizing principles of our democracy, we don't have a name. We call them conspiracy theories if you have a theory about what we don't have a name. But so I did this list, and I was shocked. I had grown up when President Kennedy was killed, and Martin Luther King and Malcolm X and Robert Kennedy and George Wallace was attacked, and Ronald Reagan was shot. I knew all this, but I had never sat down and just looked at a list of them. And once you do that, you see that it's a very common occurrence. So you have the assassinations, you have these defense failures or provocations, the Gulf of Tonkin resolution, 9/11, these, inexplicable defense failures, and you have the government cleaning up these events. The limousine that President Kennedy was in was washed while it was still at Parkland Hospital. The debris in 9/11 was cleaned up immediately and shipped to China. The agency responsible for investigating the collapse of the buildings in New York did not look for evidence of incendiaries and explosives. This is a malfeasance in government. This should be a crime. And we should bring these people into court and prosecute them for failure to do their job. The other thing that was shocking to me, so I looked at all these things and I said, well, half the elections since World War II have had a major problem, and that includes the assassination of John Kennedy, Robert Kennedy, Martin Luther King, the October surprise of 1968 when Nixon derailed the peace talks with Vietnam, the 1972 shooting of George Wallace, the 1980 October surprise, Iran-Contra. The list goes on, and of course, most recently 9/11 and the anthrax letter attacks. One of the things that I urge people to do is not to look at these events one by one. That's the conspiracy theory label tends to have you look at, what's the theory of this crime and what's the theory of that crime, and you need to look at them together to see the connections.
I agree. It is a shadow government program and formulas being used by each successive group inhabiting those bureaucratic and corporate command bases that continue to repeat the same playbook, and it's the same players throughout multiple events, then passing the baton to their adjuncts and proteges. When you study it, it is a program of control. And just to add, Professor, for folks that just joined us here on air, if you might have tuned in, we're talking to Lance deHaven-Smith, author of Conspiracy Theories in America. He is a professor of history and political science who's joining us, breaking this down with us. He's written many other books that have been prominent and successful as well. But he's just going over this. But imagine, as he said, we have crime, juvenile delinquents, we have shoplifting, we have white-collar crime, but when it's mega bankers stealing trillions, well, they don't go to jail. That's just too big to fail when they create counterfeits by the trillions, like people like Larry Summers. And so they've created an idea where, oh, no, the big people can't ever do anything wrong. And so it's then the end really of accountability. And you were asking for a name for it. It's called criminal government. I know you have some more sophisticated names. It's called tyranny. And unfortunately, the reason Americans were so jealous of liberty, as Thomas Jefferson said we should be, was because we knew history. Liberty was incredibly rare. In fact, that's a term, this very rare jewel must be guarded, as Jefferson said. And even if you guard it and have a virtuous society, you probably won't be able to keep it. But if you say there's no such thing as corruption in high places, which historically is the Great Plague, government killed 262 million people in the 20th century alone, according to a major study by the University of Hawaii. And a professor, we can't have him on, but we'd like to have him on, but he's hearing impaired. So he said he would do an article for us sometime. But and we've seen other numbers that are even higher. Non-military related deaths, 262 million. Governments lining people up, shooting them, starving them. But then we're told if you question big government or you question big corporations or you question unaccountable, you're insane. That doesn't exist. Go ahead, Professor. Sorry.
Well, and that's the thing. The conspiracy theory label is applied very selectively by the political class. They focus on the amateurs investigating the Kennedy assassination and ridicule them. But then when we have real conspiracies like lying us into war in Iraq that cost hundreds of thousands, if not millions of lives, that is not viewed as a conspiracy theory, and yet those are the conspiracy theories that are really dangerous. It's the elite conspiracy theories. The other thing I was going to say is the failure to look at these events as collected as together is different from how we would look at ordinary crimes. If a guy married a wealthy woman and she fell in the bathtub and died, we would be suspicious because it's an improbable event and he benefited. If he married again and had another wife die under an accidental thing like that, we would really be suspicious. We'd investigate him. We'd dig up the bodies. We would, control the crime scene. We'd have all these forensic people in. But when it comes to something like an assassination or a 9/11 defense failure or an anthrax letter attack, we literally destroy the evidence. The 9/11 debris is shipped out. The anthrax letter attacks, there was an inventory of anthrax at Iowa University that was destroyed right after the anthrax letter attacks. So part of what's going on is what we need to do is apply ordinary forensic techniques and investigative techniques to these high crimes. And we should bring these people in and interrogate them and tell the people at the bottom we'll let them get a lighter sentence if they'll confess about the higher ups. I mean, this is the way we handle ordinary crime. If we did that with these state crimes, with these government crimes, we could solve them. We wouldn't be sitting here 50 years after the Kennedy assassination wondering who did it. The another thing about the conspiracy theory label is it's like it forces us who have these suspicions to be expected to have a complete full-blown theory. We're supposed to solve the Kennedy assassination. We're supposed to solve 9/11. And if we can't do that, then our ideas are no good. But the reality is we don't have subpoena power. We don't have all these millions of dollars of forensic experts and techniques. The people who are supposed to solve these crimes are the government. Now, that's the problem. The government is the criminal and the government is the investigator. So we have this built-in conflict of interest, and we have to figure out ways to deal with that. And what the founders said was, let's pit the elites against each other. And that worked pretty well. I mean, we had a lot of investigations. Aaron Burr was tried for treason. Andrew Jackson complained about the corrupt bargain and then was elected president 4 years later. Abraham Lincoln complained that President Polk had lied us into the Mexican-American War. So we had elites fighting with each other and checking each other and challenging each other until World War II. And then what happened is the political class as a whole began to lock arms and defend itself as a group against suspicions in the mass public.
And they were able to, so well said, Professor, the way you crystallized it, they were able to totally flip the American culture of jealously guarding our liberties and separation of powers. And now we're just seeing a reawakening to, if we don't just trust these people, we might have a better quality of life and more justice, and groveling to a power structure enslaves you. Because I do see, to give folks some good news, the beginnings of a reawakening of common sense. But anybody that studied any period of history, Byzantine, Roman, Babylonian, Mesoamerican, I don't care what culture it was, Druidic, all of those cultures, there was constant king's courts and subterfuge and conspiracies and manipulation. Look at business. Look at your own life. I mean, I imagine with other professors at your college, there's little cliques and things and funding fights and, all that. But they're saying at the big level, though, that doesn't exist. I mean, this is asinine on its face.
It really is. And to me, it's a shocking thing to see Americans accept all this. When it's not like I say it's obscure and hard to solve, but a lot of this is just so blatant. I mean, think about it. President Kennedy is shot by a mediocre rifleman who gets all 3 lucky shots and hits him twice, and the governor gets wounds all over his body, and they arrest a guy and they interrogate him for 2 days, and they don't take notes and they don't record it.
And then they march him out and kill him, and then all the witnesses die that see all the gunmen behind the grassy knoll. Stay there, Professor, and we'll come right back. The book is Conspiracy Theory in America. Free thinking in America.
We all know that Berkey water purification systems are the most trusted name in water filtration. As an authorized Berkey dealer for over 6 years and serving thousands of satisfied customers, the Berkey Guy offers amazing specials for Berkey water filtration systems. The Berkey Light systems include a set of self-sterilizing and recleanable black purification elements that purify water by removing chlorine, pathogenic bacteria, cysts, and parasites to non-detectable levels and remove harmful chemicals such as herbicides and pesticides. Order the Berkey Light system today, complete with 2 black Berkey elements for only $231, and the Berkey Guy will ship your order free of charge. With the purchase of a Berkey Light, the Berkey Guy is also offering a set of fluoride and arsenic filters for only $39.99. That's over 30% off the retail price. Call the Berkey Guy at 1-877-886-3653. That's 1-877-886-3653. Or order online at goberkey.com. That's goberkey.com today.
My friends, Alex Jones here to tell you about some of the most important information concerning you and your family's health. Radiation levels have more than doubled in the last 60 years in the Northern Hemisphere from all of the nuclear testing and radiological accidents. Radioactive contamination is now in most of the food supply. There's only 2 ways to avoid this. Move south of the equator or properly protect your thyroid with nascent iodine. Looking to protect my family, I've done deep research. Nascent iodine is the purest, cleanest, absolute best form of iodine to protect yourself and your family. It's made right here in the USA, completely non-GMO. I searched out the best quality and now have developed a double-strength form of nascent iodine, exclusively available at InfoWarsLife.com. Nascent iodine is on record as one of the only safe ways to detox from fluoride poisoning. Survival Shield Nascent Iodine. Secure your super high-quality nascent iodine today at InfoWarsLife.com. That's InfoWarsLife.com.
My name's Bruno. I'm 52 years old. I've tried different protein powders over the years, and they've all tasted pretty bad. I tried One World Whey and found it to be delicious. After 10 weeks on One World Whey, my wife commented, "You have more muscles and you're leaner than when you were 20 years old." My body has changed dramatically. I'm a cyclist. Normally I'll ride 2 days on and take 2 days off. After being on One World Whey, I rode 10 days in a row in over 100-degree heat, and then I'd take another 2 servings of One World Whey, and then work out at the gym for another hour and a half. I just couldn't believe these results. My normal muscle tightness and soreness after working out are virtually gone. Don't take my word for it. One World Whey comes in single servings. Just give it a try.
For a health and taste sensation you'll love, call 888-988-3325. That's 888-988-3325. That's 888-988-3325. Or visit oneworldway.com. That's oneworld.com.
Costume featuring fake gun with orange tip and blue spots caused school lockdown. It's all part of the culture of hysteria where we're trained to roll over on our backs in front of the men in black uniforms. Suspect shot in custody at LAX after TSA agent fired upon. Oh, you mean a gun stopped the bad guy? They'll use this to demonize our guns and make the TSA horrid little victims. You can get ready for that. That's the federal takeover arm they're rolling out against the country. I got a big news blitz coming up after our guest leaves us in about 15 minutes. Sheriff Richard Mack, who was there when the sheriff was found not guilty of defending the Second Amendment. He's going to be coming on the broadcast, so we're going to get Sheriff Mack take on that. He was there and saw that happen. Just briefly for about 5 minutes, then I'll give the number out again and go back to your phone calls and cover a bunch of news I've got to get to, including a WorldNet Daily article with a retired Major General coming out, and Patrick Brady saying there is a purge of the military ongoing for those that won't carry out tyranny. We already have this from our own high-level sources, folks. I mean, I talked to high-level people that witnessed nukes being smuggled out of the Dyess Air Force Base a month and a half ago. They will not deny that, and since then have fired the #1 and #2 nuke commanders, and have fired a bunch of other people. We know there were missing nukes in Minot in 2007. Cheney was trying to have them smuggled out. A bunch of people got fired over that. But this time, it's not even in the news. That's another question for the professor we've got with us. You know, I'm seeing an awakening, and I want you to speak to that if you're seeing one as well, sir, and where you think this is going culturally. But I'm also seeing, while some folks are waking up, the state-run media, the establishment media, is getting more in line with not asking questions and not, I mean, if I'm making this up about missing nukes, I should be arrested. I'm not making up this source. I'm not making this up. And now all hell broke loose after we broke this. You'd think some mainstream media would touch it. Only Michael Savage has touched it, and like WorldNet Daily and folks like DrudgeReport.com that link to our stories. Everybody else is totally scared. What's your take on that?
There is, I call it the conspiracy theory taboo. There is a strong, a powerful set of norms in the political class that prohibits any comment that suggests elite political criminality or conspiracy or suspicion. Think about this. The Kennedy family never talked about President Kennedy being assassinated, never raised questions about it. We have books out now that have interviewed Robert Kennedy and friends of Robert Kennedy, and that we realize now, well, they were afraid.
Oh, yeah, no. Their secretaries, the letters have been put out public. They all knew they were killed and were told to shut up. But you know, it's funny you mentioned that, because think about it. It's almost like a political correctness to not see corruption. It's almost like a political blindness. A political lobotomy is like a sacrament now.
Yeah, absolutely. What I was saying before the break was that these are obvious events. Think of 9/11. These buildings, 110 stories high, collapsed in 10 seconds into their own footprints. And you've got the Building 7 that has obviously controlled demolition. Yes, you can see this.
Hey, I interviewed the deputy head of emergency management that said there were bombs in 7, and he was there, and then he died a week later.
Yeah, no, and that's the truth. I mean, the reality is we're dealing with a very sinister set of forces that are willing. Taking a life is a small matter in this arena. And I think the elites understand that. I think these are basically open secrets that they generally know. I mean, these people are not stupid. They know that this is certainly something very...
Stay there. Back in 60 seconds. I want to talk about that. Exactly. People ask why I'm still alive. And I've been told by some high-level sources, they almost like people knowing what they're doing.
You are listening to GCN. Visit GCNlive.com today.
My friends, Alex Jones here to tell you about some of the most important information concerning you and your family's health. Radiation levels have more than doubled in the last 60 years in the Northern Hemisphere from all of the nuclear testing and radiological accidents. Radioactive contamination is now in most of the food supply. There's only two ways to avoid this. Move south of the equator or properly protect your thyroid with nascent iodine. Looking to protect my family, I've done deep research. Nascent iodine is the purest, cleanest, absolute best form of iodine to protect yourself and your family. It's made right here in the USA, completely non-GMO. I searched out the best quality and now have developed a double-strength form of nascent iodine, exclusively available at InfoWarsLife.com. Nascent iodine is on record as one of the only safe ways to detox from fluoride poisoning. Survival Shield Nascent Iodine. Secure your super high-quality nascent iodine today at InfoWarsLife.com. That's InfoWarsLife.com.
Waging war on corruption. Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network. Big Brother, mainstream media, government cover-ups. You want answers? Well, so does he. He's Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network. And now, live from Austin, Texas, Alex Jones.
We've got this segment and part of the next, and Sheriff Richard Max popping in, then I'll go back into your phone calls and all of the news I've got to get to. But when you see all this political correctness, I mean, here's two examples just today. Man banned from Facebook for liking faggots. And when you go to England, this is in England, when you go in any of the restaurants, they say flaming faggot. Because you actually get these juicy meatballs with all these spices on fire when they bring them out. And for 500 plus years, into Old English, really 600, 700, because I asked the people and looked it up, that's been called flaming faggot. It just means a flaming piece of meat or wood. That's why they call it. And it doesn't matter. He's been kicked off, but beheadings by Al-Qaeda that our government loves, those are allowed. And all he said was, man, I wish, that I had a better recipe for faggots. And here's another one. Mexican Americans don't care about your racist sombrero. They've come out now in the news and said it's racist if you wear a sombrero on Halloween or have one hanging on your wall. Or don't dress as a geisha girl on Halloween or a cowboy. It's all about now everything is bad. I mean, isn't this just a war on reality? And I'm tying this into the political correctness of saying government can't be corrupt. I mean, how ridiculous is that? I mean, do you see the tie-in I'm doing here, that not just on the fake right, but on the fake left, it's all just really an authoritarianism?
Yes. I mean, one of the shocking things to me, the left surprises me. This comes out of a liberal tradition, a socialist tradition, a very questioning tradition, and yet people that are very well-known journalists on the left will not touch the idea of elite political criminality. They don't want to be labeled a conspiracy theorist. I can't help but believe in private they recognize this stuff. I mean, you have to be an idiot not to see some of this, although the electorate is well indoctrinated to close their eyes to this. So I don't mean to say that, everybody should realize all of this straightforward. It took me a while to figure it out. But it's still, and you were saying, is there an awakening? I think there is. I mean, the conspiracies or the coincidences keep piling up, and that's the problem. You had the 50th anniversary of President Kennedy's assassination. My colleagues in political science say that if they let any doubts grow about President Kennedy, of that possibly being a conspiracy, then it raises all kinds of questions about Robert Kennedy and Martin Luther King and George Wallace and Ronald.
Sure, well, I've seen academics in Canada, even in the Toronto Star, I forget the academic, but I saw a few articles about 4 or 5 years ago. They said, look, we know 9/11 looks very suspicious. We know it looks like they use it to invade, and it's clearly a cover-up. But if we bring this out, it'll bring down the whole structure, and we believe in big government structure, and so we just want to cover it up. I mean, I've seen that.
Yeah, I mean, I think of it, we jokingly say, it's like telling a child there is no Santa Claus. You know, the first thing the kid says is, oh my goodness, then there's no Easter rabbit, there's no tooth fairy. I mean, the whole thing collapses. So I think what we're going to witness with the Kennedy assassination anniversary is an enormous effort to keep the lid on that.
No, that's right. And that's why they defend it, and they've been whitewashing. But over 90% in an index of polls don't believe the official story. So I think that shows the collapse of the credibility. I want to ask you about who you think overall this political elite represents, how we get rid of them in a segment coming up. We have a lot of segments at the end of the hour and the start of the hour. We're going to come back with a final segment with our guest. Really impressed with the book so far and impressed with his research on here. I want to invite him up for an hour lecture sometime on InfoWars Nightly News. So we have the 30-minute news every night at 7, but then we can have an hour of overdrive for all the viewers. I'd like to invite him on in the next few weeks to do an hour-long lecture and really give him the floor to get into whatever he wants to cover. We'll be right back with Lance deHaven-Smith.
Protecting your home with a security system is a must. But when it comes to protecting your family, your home, and belongings, there's no need to sign a long-term contract. Listen, there is some real scum in the alarm business, cashing in by locking you into long, punishing contracts. Not with Simply Safe Home Security. They're the good guys. You can trust Simply Safe to protect your family. Simply Safe was created by a Harvard Business School engineer, and it's revolutionary. You'll get 24-hour protection for just $14.99 a month. There are no hidden fees and no contracts. You'll save thousands. Plus, you're protected by their 100% money-back guarantee. Protect yourself against home invasions and break-ins. Order your Simply Safe system now and receive a wireless keychain remote, a $25 gift, free. So don't waste your time dealing with scum. Visit GetSimplySafe.com. GetSimplySafe.com. GetSimplySafe.com.
Introducing Pro One. All of your filtration in one system, portable, on the go. No more do you have 2 or 3 filters to just reduce sodium fluoride. You have a system that cuts out the sodium fluoride and up to 95% of hydrofluorosilicic acid. Advanced manufacturing technology combines silver-impregnated white ceramic with new Aquamedics advanced media for removal of fluoride and other heavy metals, all in one filter element. It is the only one that does it, and out of the gate, we have it discounted at 10% off with promo code WATER. This is the only system that in one unit helps reduce or remove pesticides, herbicides, chloramines, ammonia, and chlorine, hydrofluorosilicic acid, the most common form of fluoride not covered by other fluoride filter brands, and sodium hexafluorosilicate. Get your Pro Pure with the new Pro One filters today at InfoWarsStore.com or by calling 888-253-3139.
When you're out on the road, the last place you want to be is on the road. But if the unfortunate happens, you'll be glad you were wearing diamond gussets.
There's a place down in Tennessee where they make blue diamond gusset jeans. They so pride in every stitch, guarantee you'll love the way they fit. They put a diamond gusset in the crotch where you need it most. Blue diamond gussets got it, others don't.
We turn jeans inside out. Diamond gusset jeans. Made in the USA with unparalleled quality. Our Defender motorcycle jeans combine gusset comfort with Kevlar protection, so you can ride all day with confidence. Order yours at gusset.com. Diamond gusset jeans got it, others don't.
You want answers? Well, so does he. Live from the Infowars.com studios, it's Alex Jones.
Folks, society's going crazy. You've got a lot of real violence, a lot of real things that happen. I'm getting all sorts of tweets sent to real Alex Jones saying, what do I think was behind the LAX incident? I don't know. Probably a real person went through. Might have been crazy, might have been angry at somebody. I don't know. Might have been a real event. But we know they've staged mass shootings. They've allowed crazy people to attack. I know the Boston bombing. They had a drill. They had a stand down. The media, the FBI came and threatened our reporters with Secret Service on national TV and said, do not talk about the drill, which they admitted. Then they said there wasn't a drill. Later had to admit there was a drill. Both brothers were connected to the CIA. One was on the CIA payroll. This came out in major British and Russian newspapers. I mean, do you understand that? And they were clearly intelligence cutouts like Lee Harvey Oswald set up. That was clearly meant as a political diversion. I don't know what this is. But Katie bar the door, they staged Gulf of Tonkin. By the way, I have the San Diego Herald Tribune article that came from about 6 months after Gulf of Tonkin in '64 that got us officially into Vietnam. It was already going on years before that. And just to give you an example of how this works, so I knew the officers that said that nobody attacked him, it was staged. And I was called a conspiracy theorist because I had the San Diego Herald Tribune, and I had professors on and researchers and witnesses to this. And then, of course, in 2004, the 40th anniversary, they declassified the tapes that indeed the whole thing was staged. Now, do we all get little gold stars for being right? I mean, a listener sent me the San Diego Herald Tribune. I didn't just believe that. I then had listeners go pull it up on the microfilm there to confirm it was real. And, of course, I'd always heard that. See, it became a rumor. You know, Professor, we're joined by Lance deHaven-Smith, his book, Conspiracy Theory in America. I think everybody should read it. How they've turned just questioning known liars into a thought crime. In closing, I think that's one of the biggest issues here. And then I want your take on who's running the globalist system, how we counter it, where as a historian you think this is going. But that's the problem, is that my listeners are great folks, but so many times they call in with these rumors that can't be proven that I know are a rumor, like telephone game, 10 points removed from a real document. But then it's like it becomes a rumor that Gulf of Tonkin was staged. I mean, it's still a rumor, even though it's been declassified 8 years ago or whatever, 7 years ago. So, I mean, I think you get my point is the problem is history is so complex, the general public, it just becomes a he said, she said.
That's exactly right. Napoleon had a comment. He said that it was not necessary to prevent the truth from coming out forever, just to prevent it for as long as it mattered.
Exactly.
And that's what happens is this stuff comes out. In 1997, we had a tape released of Lyndon Johnson talking to Everett Dirksen about Nixon undermining the peace talks in 1968. And Johnson said, this is treason. This is treason, but I'm not going to tell the American people because it would destroy their confidence in the system of government. So I think what you have, when this comes out in 97, it's news for one day. Nobody goes back and says, geez, they stole the 1968 election. Nixon was, people don't realize this, he was pardoned for every crime he might have committed. Not for every committed. They didn't know what all crimes he had, so they put in the pardon any crimes he might have committed. I mean, it's like a blank check.
You know, one big problem is the public feels powerless at some levels, and I think that's why they will laugh at someone that tells them some great admitted truth, because it's scary, and so it's just easier to laugh at it. Joseph Goebbels, to paraphrase his quotes, he said, look, the lies need to be real simple and just repeat them over and over again, because people are lazy and don't want to admit things are happening. And so just give them lies that are easy to believe so that they don't have to do anything.
And I think there's a psychological warfare going on where they want us, I mean, this sounds a little weird, but they want us to know they're behind some of these events. It's too obvious. But what that does is so demoralizing. I mean, the buildings fall in 9/11, the anthrax letters come out, nobody can solve this crime. Kennedy, we can't solve. What does that tell people? That tells people we are going to do these things, and there isn't a darn thing you can do about it.
Exactly. I was told by a major banking executive off record, wearing my journalism hat, he didn't admit to anything, but he just said, yeah, and we don't care if you're out there telling people, because we're just throwing it in the public's face, bud. We have got that much power. And it's like, man, do they really think this type of corruption can just go on forever and it's not going to affect them?
That's the crazy thing, is that the elite, the political class, obviously our institutions are failing. They are being corrupted. And it's not just government, it's economic, it's financial. I mean, priests are pedophiles. I mean, we're talking, we got serious problems throughout. And the elites act as if this, they can just continue with impunity and not hold anybody accountable, and that this is not going to unravel. But I mean, what it does is it puts the burden on the American people to stand up and take back their democracy. And until they're willing to do that, we're going to keep drifting like this, and the elites are going to continue to bail out the banks and not the homeowners, and pardon the criminals at the top and prosecute the people at the bottom.
Well, I think you've hit it here, Professor, and it's that you've got a system where the upper political class became bulletproof politically because of media aiding them, and then the lower political class, and now even just general criminals, people can't believe that a priest or somebody can be doing something bad, or Sandusky, until it creates a culture of just rolling over to corruption and denying it until it takes over the society, and then the society collapses. And I think that's a whole nother book in and of itself. Sir, I want to thank you for coming on. Great job with the book, Conspiracy Theory in America. Lance deHaven-Smith. Take care. We'll be talking to you again soon.
Thank you for having me.
Wow, powerful interview, folks. And he really gets it as a historian. And I'm a lay historian. I mean, I just find history so interesting. I've read, no exaggeration, probably 500 history books. In fact, it's a lot more than that. I read a lot of history magazines and stuff back when I had time to do such a thing. Now I just read history repeating itself every day in the newspaper. And, I mean, whoa, this is bad. I mean, this is... because here's the deal about corruption. It gets to a crest point. It gets to a leverage point, and then it just explodes. And we've hit that metastasization point, and now there's a body politic swinging back. And it's just really amazing. Now, folks, we do have Sheriff Richard Mack joining us for a quick update before he goes in and teaches a Constitution course to elementary school students. That's where the real fight is, and he understands that. Tirelessly traveling the country to warn people about what's happening. But we've got him till the bottom of the hour. Then I'm going to news blitz and take your calls. He was there when Sheriff Nick Finch was found not guilty by a jury yesterday of upholding the Constitution. The state law in Florida is written where you can carry a gun concealed in your car or your home for protection, but the cop arrested him, the sheriff's deputy, for having it saying, well, he was in public. And the sheriff said, well, I hired you to enforce the Second Amendment. We're letting the guy out. So they arrested him. The governor came out against him. The Republican leadership came out against him, where the Democrats tried to put him in jail with a felony. The jury found him not guilty. But I wanted to get Sheriff Richard Mack to join us to talk about what it was like watching the trial over those 2 days, and what it was like to see the jury when they said not guilty, and because this is a historical event. Of course, Sheriff Richard Mack defeated the Brady Law at the Supreme Court, so he's another hero sheriff. But we've got another one joining the ranks big time. And by the way, they tried to put Sheriff Mack in jail as well before, with fake investigations, and Sheriff Arpaio and others. I mean, they come after these men that stand for America. The fight is here, folks. These are soldiers of the Republic. Sheriff Mack, good to have you on with us.
Thanks a lot, Alex. This is a tremendous victory for freedom and liberty, and I so much appreciate you giving it your attention.
Well, we're all in this together, brother. I better.
Absolutely.
So tell folks the highlights of what you saw.
Well, Alex, I really wish everybody could have been there. All your listeners would have been amazed. This was the Constitution on trial in this courtroom. This was the oath of office. This was a constitutional sheriff defending himself against the state who had fired him, taken him away from his job, took away his income, trying to destroy himself and his family. And serious, when Sheriff Finch took the stand, he was defending the oath of office he took to the Constitution. he was defending, nullifying an arrest of an innocent, and everybody admitted that this man had no criminal record, that he was not a prohibited felon, that he had threatened no one, that he had committed no harm to anybody. But because this deputy created the crime of possessing a gun on his person without a permit, then the sheriff came in, looked at the entire situation, and nullified the arrest of this poorly instructed deputy. This happened just 2 months after Sheriff Finch was in office. Now the attack really came, and the Florida Department of Law Enforcement investigated it, never once interviewed the sheriff, came in, served a search warrant, arrested him, and booked him into his own jail. The governor came in, suspended him, and then, get this, Alex, the prosecutors and the Attorney General's office told Sheriff Finch, we'll make this all go away, we'll remove these felons from your record, if you'll just leave the office of sheriff and never come back. Sheriff Finch refused. He went to court, and a good jury saw through all the smokescreen and all the corruption of these corrupt prosecutors and a corrupt judge. They recognized it for what it was. Sheriff Finch nullified the arrest of Mr. Parrish.
Stay there, and the grand jury nullified that. Yeah, stay there.
My name is Frank Bates, and I got a confession to make. Just a few days ago, FEMA went directly to my supplier and tried to buy up my entire stockpile of high-quality survival food. It sounds crazy, but I'll show you the exact letter they sent in a minute. Revealing FEMA's plot could land me in hot water, but I think you deserve to know exactly what they're doing. Go to FEMAHatesThis.com to see undeniable video proof that the government is on the hunt for as much survival food as they can grab in 24 hours. Be warned, it's really disturbing because the fact is FEMA must know something we don't. Go to FEMAHatesThis.com to see why survival food is the #1 item to hoard right now and why supplies are so low or even completely sold out already at many stores across America. Do it now because I don't know how long it will be online, so go to FEMAHatesThis.com while you can. That's FEMAHatesThis.com.
That's the sound of a .44 Magnum and Trauma Max, a high-tech hybrid Kevlar bulletproof vest from InfidelBodyArmor.com. Will stop it and most pistol rounds. Trauma Max is a major breakthrough in pistol-rated body armor, and prices start at just $170 per insert. More protection, more stopping power, more mobility, and it weighs less than 5 pounds. Get details at InfidelBodyArmor.com. That's INFIDEL BodyArmor.com. You know about RVs, you've heard about bunkers, but surviving is not recreation, and man wasn't made to live underground. Introducing Survivalist Camps, the ultimate fully functional off-the-grid survival bug-out house that's mobile, well-equipped, and custom-built to outlast any other RV or trailer. Go to survivalistcamps.com to learn more. That's survivalistcamps.com, providing your basic needs to survive. Survivalistcamps.com.
Alex Jones here, and I want to tell you about a longtime friend of the show, My Patriot Supply. As you might remember, this is the company that stood up to the DHS and exposed FEMA's secret plan to begin hoarding emergency survival food. It has always been my belief that it's key to stand behind companies who share the same values as their fellow patriots. My Patriot Supply brings us their exclusive Patriot Pantry brand, along with many other fine preparedness products. I personally store and use their high-quality products. It tastes great, and it's easy to store for up to 25 years. For a limited time, you can save $50 instantly on a 4-week supply of food, along with other special offers. Visit mypatriotsupply.com/Alex today. With the New World Order making rapid advances on every front, it is essential to prepare with My Patriot Supply today.
My name is Josh. One World Way is the best in the market, hands down. I'm in the U.S. Navy, and I live a very active lifestyle. Being a vegetarian, it's hard getting all the protein I need. I tried the vegan protein powders, and I just wasn't feeling any change. The Meathead supplement store whey protein kind of worked for a bit, but it left me feeling bloated, and my digestion seemed to slow down. By some divine stroke of luck, I heard a commercial of One World Way on the radio, and it struck my interest. I have to tell you, I am so glad I got it. I have been taking it for a week, and the results are amazing. amazing. I don't feel tired when I have to get up at 4:30 a.m. I look and feel better. I recover faster from my 2 workouts a day. When I don't have time to eat good food, I take it, and I don't feel the urge to stuff my face for hours. I got up this morning, and I looked the leanest I've looked since high school. I can go on and on. The best I can do to repay you is buy more and tell my friends.
Call 888-988-3325. That's 888-988-3325. Or visit oneworldwhey.com.
I hear the train a-comin', it's rolling around the bend, and I ain't seen the sunshine since I don't know when. I'm stuck in Folsom Prison, and time keeps dragging on.
Well, Sheriff Nick Finch was in Liberty County, and he decided liberty was what it was all about. I remember reading the law. It was ambiguous, but clearly you could have a gun on your car to protect yourself. So they false arrest, and you're like, this is false arrest. We can get in trouble for this. Release this guy. But the state wants it misapplied. This happens everywhere. They want anti-gun, anti-liberty police and sheriffs, and they always go after folks that don't toe the line. And that's why police will come to your house if your neighbor sees you with a gun getting in and out of your car. Doesn't matter if the gun's legal. They'll take you to jail because they know they get in trouble if they don't. Let people sort it out later. But Sheriff Finch's real crime was following the Constitution. And as Sheriff Mack was just trying to eloquently say as we went to break, well, repeat what you said about historical this is, and then get into watching the trial, some of the nasty stuff the judge did, and then what it was like when the jury came back with the not guilty verdict.
Well, it was truly a miracle all the way around, and really appreciate all your listeners and their support. Sheriff Finch took on this battle against the powers that you would not believe. This literally worse than fighting the IRS and going to court on stuff like that. The government at every level went after him. The county, the police officers, even his own former employees and current, and the state, the Attorney General's office, the governor's office. He's fighting all of that, and he has no income. He has no way to pay lawyers. We still really need to get him donations to help pay for his legal fees. But this is what happened. This good man did exactly what you and I have been praying for, and all your listeners have been praying for, that there would be a sheriff with the courage to tell the government, leave this good man alone. I'm nullifying the arrest. I'm nullifying what you did. I'm going to protect him. I'm going to stand by him. Sheriff Finch nullified the arrest of a good law-abiding citizen, and then a good, honest jury nullified the arrest of a good constitutional sheriff. Alex, this is so historical. It's so huge. It's an example now to the rest of the world. This is what a sheriff is supposed to do, and this is what a jury is supposed to do. And what happens when a jury nullifies the corrupt acts of corrupt public officials? Freedom is the result, and that is what happened in Liberty County. Liberty is the result of Liberty County. We have a good, honest sheriff there that wants to do the right thing. He has been restored to his job, and he hasn't got his back pay yet. We think that's going to happen, but it doesn't look like the state is going to pay for his legal fees. We've got a lot of work to do and a lot of support to still give him. I want all of your listeners to go to cspoa.org, make a donation for Sheriff Finch, and get involved in this process. Folks, we have a solution, we have proof, and Sheriff Finch is the hero taking this to the streets.
And again, your cell phone broke up a moment, Sheriff Mack. Give out your website for the Constitutional Sheriff's Association again.
Okay, it's CSPOA, stands for Constitutional Sheriffs Peace Officers Association. CSPOA.org.
Sure, and folks can link through it, Sheriff.
Right there to Sheriff Finch.
Sure, they can link through at sheriffmac.com as well. But the issue here is reading the law. He followed the law. It shows how organized and evil these groups are. They'll undoubtedly try to come back after him again because they know if they let one constitutional sheriff stand up, they might all stand up, and then there is the end of this lawless, criminal, anti-American takeover. So it is our duty to back him and you and others and really take this hero around the country to be an example to others and stand together. It's got to really make the anti-gunners mad. But, Sheriff, in closing, we only got a minute and a half. Highlights of the trial, and when they said not guilty, how upset was that judge that I saw prejudicing himself in the news?
They were slumped down in their chairs, looking like a little lost puppy. But the rest of us were so thrilled. We just couldn't believe the magnitude of the miracle that we got there. We were all thrilled. We hugged, we cried. We cried. And his daughter was just beautiful. She's just 16 years old. Her name's Amber, and she looks like Amber. She's blonde. His wife stood by him, supported him.
And by the way, Sheriff Finch, I should add, it was a combat veteran, and they threatened him. They said, we're going to go to war with you. And he said, I'm standing with America. Let's go to war.
Yes, and he said when the prosecutor badgered him about his belief in the Second Amendment, he said, Counselor, the Second Amendment in the Constitution must count for something. And it was the most powerful moment of the whole trial. When Finch gave that testimony of the Constitution and his dedication to the Second Amendment, it was the biggest moment of the whole trial.
Well, good job reporting there for Infowars.com. Sheriff Mack, thank you for your tireless work in defense of liberty. Now go talk to those elementary students about the Constitution, and we'll talk to you next week via video, Skype, or in person. God bless you. Great job.
Thanks a lot, Alex. We'll see you soon.
All right, we'll be back with the news, your calls, and more. The defense of the Republic continues.
We're on the march. The Empire's on the run. Alex Jones and the GCN Radio Network.
Alex Jones here, and I want to tell you about a longtime friend of the show, My Patriot Supply. As you might remember, this is the company that stood up to the DHS and exposed FEMA's secret plan to begin hoarding emergency survival food. It has always been my belief that it's key to stand behind companies who share the same values as their fellow patriots. My Patriot Supply brings us their exclusive Patriot Pantry brand, along with many other fine preparedness products. I personally store and use their high-quality products. It tastes great, and it's easy to store for up to 25 years. For a limited time, you can save $50 instantly on a 4-week supply of food, along with other special offers. Visit mypatriotsupply.com/Alex today. With the New World Order making rapid advances on every front, it is essential to prepare with My Patriot Supply today.
With over 3,000 years of historic use, pure silver continues to be one of nature's most reliable and effective agents against fighting viruses, mold, fungus, bacteria, pathogens, and parasites. At Silver Lungs, we have developed a reliable and easy-to-use full production system for creating endless pure nano-silver solutions right from the convenience and comfort of your home. Your self-produced nano-silver solutions can be applied topically to the skin. For many who are new to silver that wish to try silver for the first time, we offer a full line of consumables and cosmetics, such as our 2-ounce nano-silver nasal sprays, our nano-silver soap, and our most popular product, the all-natural nano-silver gel. Visit www.silverlungs.com to learn more about the industry-leading technology of the Silver Lungs system. That's www.silverlungs.com.
When an emergency happens, you'll be left to fend for yourself and your family. An outbreak of contagious disease can happen anywhere, and the threat of bioterrorism is always at hand. Because we're faced with more diseases than ever before, we need a better solution than ever before. Fortunately, there's a simple, effective way to protect yourself. Supernatural Silver offers a safe and effective means of fighting pathogens and can help defeat the root of these problems. Supernatural Silver is effective against more than 500 different disease-causing pathogens without encouraging drug resistance and without side effects. Supernatural Silver is the #1 choice of thousands of people for immune system support. Go to supernaturalsilver.com and give you and your loved ones a fighting chance. That's supernaturalsilver.com. Use the promo code October 2013 for 20% off your entire order and like us on Facebook.
If you are receiving this transmission, you are the resistance. Live from the Infowars.com studios, it's Alex Jones.
I don't want to hear from anybody that they're bored. These aimless folks that say, oh, what is there to life? You're in the middle of a science fiction war where the technological elite that believe they're above humans trying to play God, engaging in absolute warfare against us. We're here desperately trying to warn people, fighting on every front, desperately as we can and having an effect. Just went live at drudgereport.com. We're putting it up on Infowars.com. Report, CBS News, gunman off-duty TSA agent. And people are saying, is it a conspiracy? Is it staged to me? And I said, we don't know. Probably not. I just said that last segment. I said, probably might be real. Might be a staged event. They've staged up before. They'll probably have Media Matters say that I said it was a staged event. Because they just lie to their audience and take stuff out of context. Or maybe they'll say, I said Obama sent a tornado there to do it and just make it up and have no proof. It's just, people say, why do I plug them when they have no traffic? They write the talking points for the media. The White House actually writes that stuff through their minions, through their trendies. They have like trendies with different color socks and stuff, so it makes it all okay. And the handlebar mustaches. And they have little TV shows where they get up there. Anyways, the point is that report... gunman off-duty TSA agent. And again, that's CBS News Local. And they've already had a TSA agent at that airport say, I'm God, and strip down naked and run around. And they've also had a TSA agent at that airport rape a woman in the parking lot. And a bunch of other stuff. That's the LAX where I had just taken a shower because I'm a clean freak. At least I used to be when I had more time. I'd been out doing video shoots with Jesse Ventura. It was in the afternoon. Went to my hotel, took a shower. Put on fresh socks, fresh shoes. They had a car pick me up, drove me to the airport, LAX. I get out, and I take my shoes off, and I walk through, and the TSA people go, oh, Mr. Stinky Feet, your feet stink. And I thought, and I kind of smiled like, you're joking, right? And then they went, oh, you don't like that, Mr. Stinky Feet. It's two big black guys, and I was just like, I don't like you talking to me like that. Does it make you feel big? They're like, oh, just get on out of here. I guess I thought I was going to grovel and, like, defecate on myself or something. But the whole point is that is a mess. That airport is a mess of lunatics. Absolute crazy, weirdo, bizarro people. And that's all I can say. And it's all a complete facade. If you're flying out of there in a private jet, you just pull right up, nothing happens. You just go right in. Just boom, you're out of there on a private jet. It's just all pure bull, folks. Slave training for you. And it's come out in court. I'll tell you, they're bad enough, though. They've had fake drills at airports before where they'll set up the person that thinks they're part of a drill. They could have done that, too. I've told police, TSA, everybody, do not be part of drills where they have you play the part of the plainclothes person that tries to sneak a gun through. Because they've done that before. I'm not saying that's what happened here, but they could have set this person up as a political diversion to get more funding or something. They've been caught doing similar stuff. They've got Operation Northwoods, which said they could stage it. Probably another mentally ill, power-tripping person. I mean, who wants a job checking babies' diapers while the government runs Al-Qaeda? Jerry Sandusky and pedophiles and control freaks. And now, I've had a lot of TSA agents come out to my rallies and stuff. I had a rally against the TSA where we stormed the Capitol twice, and repeatedly, TSA folks that had other government jobs that got laid off said, look, you can get $25, $30 an hour. I don't like being around the radiation. I finally quit. Stop talking bad about us. When I left that Dallas TSA, one lady said, there was another guy from Austin, they said about half of them are your listeners. We're not all pedophiles, man. We need the money. We got families. And we're trying to unionize. We know it's all a bunch of bull. So I know you're not all perverts, okay? But I know the supervisors are the jerks that enjoy being punks. And I've been through it, and I've dealt with it. And I'm mad because I can't personally have you drag off one of my daughters and you know, and have some, I mean, look, I went to a rock concert, folks, and my buddy's wife was extremely attractive. They didn't search anybody going to the VIP area at the back because I was invited in. And, man, this woman saw her and came right over and literally went between her legs and grabbed both of her butt cheeks, was just squeezing them, went over to her breasts. And, I mean, it was so obvious the woman was enjoying it. And, I mean, this is ridiculous. And I watch these women, you know, searching folks. I just can't handle it. I watched these women at, where was that? That was at Atlanta. with Ventura, and the women sat there giggling and laughing, going, saying that they liked Ventura. It was black ladies. They were going, and he's sitting there, and they're just grabbing, and the guy's grabbing his butt and grabbing his testicles, and Ventura's actually going, oh, East Germany, I'm moving, I'm leaving, and they're just going, and the women are like taking pictures and going, I mean, I just can't handle it anymore. I mean, this is so ridiculous. We had a story a couple days ago where, by the way, he never flew after a few more flights with that. He quit flying then. We were in the first class, and he goes, that's it. After this, never again. I'm good. I mean, and people say, oh, get over it. They all know it's a fraud. They all know it's a former governor, Jesse Ventura. They all know he's not a threat. He's wearing a blue T-shirt and blue jeans. And that's why pilots used to freak out and couldn't fly after. They just refused to fly anymore. And so they stopped groping them and stopped body scanning them. You're going to trust them to fly the plane, but you're not going to trust them. See, I'm going off into a rant. I've got a ton of news, your phone calls. I need to get to it. I need to shut up. It's just that all of these memories. In fact, can we come back with that rendition of Dream On by Rodney James? Because I think that really says it all. All these things come back to me. It's like the older I get now, it's like I see one thing, and then there's all the knowledge. I guess the wisdom is what that is, that you've had all these experiences, and then it just builds up till you see the deeper pattern. And it's just like, that's why smaller and smaller stuff, you can't take it, because it brings up all the other stuff. And at a certain point, you're like, I cannot put up with this anymore. I'm getting to where I cannot put up with people's baloney. Not in business, not in life, not personally. And I can actually put up with more work, more hardship, more things like that. What I can't deal with is like all people's weird idiosyncrasies. But anyways, I'm ranting. Oh boy, I've got all this news. I've got to cover it. There's so much I haven't even gotten to. I'm going to move fast. Each caller 1 minute. Thank you for holding. Pfeiffer in Florida, you're on the air. Go ahead.
How you doing, sir?
Pretty good, brother.
Thank you for having me on your show. I'm a longtime follower. I wanted to bring something up. You had a guest on about a week and a half ago, Professor Griff, and he was talking about the demonization of the entertainment industry and how they're targeting our youth. I kind of wanted to bring up the fact that I don't think a lot of adults really know what's going on. I had to turn off my cable about like 4 years ago because of the innuendo a lot of these kids shows were kind of like, throwing out there. And my kids having to come to me and ask me all these different questions. Now, I've been part of the entertainment industry myself, more on the music and art side. And I followed hip-hop since the 70s, and I've seen how it's changed throughout the years. And I know on your show, talking about Obamacare and all these other issues are very important, and you're catering more toward adults. But I think that, we have to target the children ourselves and kind of be informed as parents, because once they take over the children, I mean, it's going to end. I mean, the children are pretty much our future. They're going to be the future politicians, the future police commissioners, and so on and so forth. And I don't think that really gets talked about enough. So I kind of wanted to bring that to your attention, as well as the difference between talking to somebody that's asleep versus somebody that's awake, because I feel, in my opinion, talking to somebody that's asleep, you're kind of wasting your time, because the person that sleeps only wants to wake up when they want to, rather than an individual that's already awake and has some information.
Sir, I totally hear you, and I cover news, which maybe 20% of the population even pays attention to, and it's more highbrow than even entertainment. And, of course, news is dumbed down as well, but they are basting our children in sex and drugs and pedophilia and corruption and targeting young children. And hip-hop and rap, when it first came out, was about empowerment and being honorable. And then the establishment on record funded it to fund gangster rap and big fat guys dancing around about how the women were trash to bring down culture. And now they've done that with all the other music. You're absolutely right. By the way, I just saw a headline. We'll put it on screen. It's up on Infowars.com, where Sean Penn has come out and said, and again, it's in the tiles on Infowars.com, that Ted Cruz should be committed to a mental institution. He said this on Piers Morgan. I want to say something right here and right now. I have hung out with Sean Penn. I've also ran into him in Denver and talked to him. I've talked to him on the telephone repeatedly. Sean Penn is mentally disabled. People think those are great actors because it comes off like they're such a good actor because they're not putting on an act. They're not. The guy probably has about a 75 IQ. Okay? I mean, and I'm not going to say any more about it because I don't hang around with people and talk bad about him, but I've had enough of him, like a Soviet commissar, he would know what that is, saying put Ted Cruz in a mental institution. The video's up on Infowars.com with that slime bag Piers Morgan. Kurt Nimmo wrote about it. And it makes me absolutely sick that he's an authoritarian saying and arrest people because Ted Cruz said Obamacare was a screw job. Obama isn't bad for lying and saying nobody'd lose their health care and premiums wouldn't go up and committing and saying it was a conspiracy theory. No, Obama's not in trouble for the torture, the secret arrest, or Clinton stealing tens of millions of dollars of the Haitian funds. Sean Penn's too stupid. So I want to give him a pass, though. He was told to say that. And when you're talking to Sean Penn, he doesn't talk because if you actually get him to talk, he is an idiot. And he's actually come out before in a moment of clarity and said that he's basically retarded. And I'm nothing against mentally handicapped people, but I've had enough of Sean Penn. Sean Penn, why don't you go finger paint, buddy? Okay, you are stupid. You are dumber than a box of rocks. And let me tell you, Josh Brolin acted pretty darn dumb when I was around him, too. I mean, you guys are a bunch of idiots, a bunch of narcissists who want to act like you're liberal when you're pushing authoritarianism. We've even got the clip of the Pearl Jam idiot, too, running around to his moron fans saying we should, ban guns and then, restrict Second Amendment, while this guy is on record having armed former Army and Navy SEAL bodyguards. He's such a coward. No one even knows who that guy is, a few of his moron fans. I mean, let me tell you something. I've hung around with major rock stars. Everybody knows who Dave Mustaine is, people, but because he's so iconic. But I've hung around with big rock stars, maybe even bigger than Dave Mustaine, but who haven't been in the limelight a ton or whatever. No one knows who they are. I mean, I've been sitting there before with somebody way more famous, I would think, in my mind, than me. And the crowds are all coming up to me because I'm currently popular and known. These people, I mean, this guy, no one cares what you think, you hypocrite piece of garbage. Trying to take my rights. These authoritarian slime bags. In fact, we'll play that clip in overdrive. I'm going into overdrive. I got to go back to calls. I'm glad that caller brought that up. And people say, why are you so angry at them? They're trying to rob my birthright and your birthright. These people are thieves. And I mean, to be around Sean Penn and to realize the guy literally can hardly talk. Oh, by the way, in Haiti, he carries around a gun on his side and has armed guards when he's there. It's just so crazy. And then it's like this liberal thing, like if you go help black people, that's like the highest calling in the world. And so it's like, I'm high and mighty. I went and helped black people. And I have bodyguards, but you can't have guns. I'm Sean Penn. I'm Sean Penn. I'm Matt Damon. Matt Damon. Let's go ahead and talk to Michael in Texas. You're on the air. Go ahead. Hello, Matt Damon. Are you there, Matt Damon? Maybe Michael should be called Matt Damon. Let's go to Simon in Florida. That's the mating call of walruses. Is Matt Damon. Go ahead. You're on the air, Simon.
Yeah, the governor's office here in Florida is receiving over 100 calls per hour over the unemployment website not working. These people are not being paid. These unemployment claimants are going to almost a month of no payment, and no one's really reporting on this.
Yeah, now, they're doing tests all over the country. That's why they got the riot gear, the bullets, the rubber bullets, all of it in place and ready. Is they're going to start cutting the welfare now that they've got their whole thing in place just to see how the riots go. But go ahead, sir.
Yeah, I told her about the money spent to protect the IRS building in New York. I mean, 6 people showed up at their admin office on Monday when this started, when I called in trying to get my claim worked out. And there's only 4 people handling these claims at their office. Senator Nelson is looking at having an investigation done. I mean, it's a lot more detailed than that. There's a lot of information I have that I've emailed over to you guys. If you have an email address that you can give me, I'll get the information over to you.
Sure, specific. So I mean, what does this mean if it's been broken for a while and I mean what's the heart of it?
Well, people's electric's going to get shut off. They're not going to be able to eat. They're not going to be able to pay their mortgage, And they know about this, and I've talked to the governor's office. You know, the phone system they haven't answered the phone over there in 2 weeks, so I had to call the governor's office. And then when I was calling the governor's office, I was thinking, wow, how long is it going to be before they stop answering the phone? Of course, they stopped answering the phone. So I had to play with their voicemail system to get through to their directory.
Well, we're going to look into it, but God bless you, sir. Yeah, systematically, there's degeneration of society happening. Every executive I know says it's frightening. It's like zombiosis or something. And I guess the globalists with their actuaries know, with the IQ dropping, the brainwaves dropping, everything, people are in a trance state, and it's going to get really, really bad. I'm going to come back from break and take more calls, but here's some of the news up on drudgereport.com and Infowars.com. Obama signs an executive order directing the government to prepare for global warming. I thought we'd been under it and had to pay him money to his carbon exchange. Chinese state media shows plans for nuke strikes on U.S. cities. We punch that up. I can show TV viewers. That computer's not routed through. You just put Drudge up in there. And there it is. It says Chinese state media shows plans for nuke strikes on U.S. cities, damage projections from Seattle and Los Angeles. And then meanwhile, our government's menacing China while selling us out to China. And continuing, China moves spy ship to Hawaii waters. So there is the basic info. And that article is a Paul Joseph Watson article on the Chinese spy ship being moved into U.S. territorial economic exclusion zone off the coast with its NSA spy grid. So that's up on drudgereport.com, up on Infowars.com. Will LAX shooting be exploited to arm TSA agents? What, to battle back against other TSA agents? White House campaign says Obamacare insurers, no insurer will ever drop customers. So they're back saying they will never drop you. Even though they are dropping you, it doesn't matter. They're now saying again they're never going to drop you. And again, I mentioned the Sean Penn idiot video. That's up there. Food banks panicking over demand following welfare cut. That's a key article by Paul Joseph Watson. Halloween costume featuring fake gun prompted school lockdown. Shot fired at LAX. We have that earlier article. We're now updating it that it's a TSA lordship that fired on another lordship, we're to believe. And you can't believe anything the lordships say because they lie to us so much. Oh, that's a conspiracy theory. They never lie to us. They always tell the truth. They're good. I love them. Fairness doctrine. And former CIA pilot Plumlee says Reagan administration.
It's been said, those who control the food control the people. Are you concerned about GMO foods making you sick and affecting your mind? Many people suffer from lack of energy, insomnia, loss of stamina, weight gain, and the inability to think clearly. Genetically modified crops, processed foods, and toxic chemicals can compromise your health and are silently destroying your digestive system, which accounts for 80% of your immune system. Take back control of your health with Pro EM1 Probiotic from Terraganics. Pro EM1 Probiotic helps protect your body against irritable bowel syndrome, constipation, Crohn's disease, celiac disease, diabetes, the common cold, and much more. And including a powerful probiotic like Pro EM1 as part of your daily routine puts you back in control and prevents you from becoming a mindless zombie manipulated by the pharmaceutical and GMO agendas. Call Terraganics at 866-369-3678 or visit Terraganics.com. TERAGANIX.com.
In times of disaster, internet and mobile networks will go dark. A wealth of online information will be completely inaccessible. Now, imagine the most extensive survival and disaster preparedness library ever created, with information for every possible scenario, still available to you without online access. That's the survival key. Ben Franklin said it best. By failing to prepare, you're preparing to fail. Get your survival key at getsurvivalkey.com. Quite literally, the key to your survival. GetSurvivalKey.com.
We the people grow cotton, weave fabric, engrave ink, embed strips and fibers to protect from counterfeit and carting to a private bank, having it lent back at interest, forcing taxes to service debt. This capitalism, or was Jefferson correct when stating a central bank issuing the public currency is a greater menace to the liberties of the people than a standing army? Ted Anderson, I'm placing a free silver dollar in a book that explains our monetary system. Call for your copy, 800-686-2237. It's time to understand the system. Call 800-686-2237. 800-686-2237. That's 800-686-2237.
My friends, Alex Jones here to tell you about some of the most important information concerning you and your family's health. Radiation levels have more than doubled in the last 60 years in the Northern Hemisphere from all of the nuclear testing and radiological accidents. Radioactive contamination is now in most of the food supply. There's only two ways to avoid this. Move south of the equator or properly protect your thyroid with nascent iodine. Looking to protect my family, I've done deep research. Nascent iodine is the purest, cleanest, absolute best form of iodine to protect yourself and your family. It's made right here in the USA, completely non-GMO. I searched out the best quality and now have developed a double-strength form of nascent iodine, exclusively available at InfoWarsLife.com. Nascent iodine is on record as one of the only safe ways to detox from fluoride poisoning. Survival Shield Nascent Iodine. Secure your super high-quality nascent iodine today at InfoWarsLife.com. That's InfoWarsLife.com.
Cyrus Jones from 1810 to 1913 made his great-grandchildren believe you could live to 103. 103 is forever when you're just a little kid. So, Cyrus Jones, live forever. Grave digger, when you dig my grave, would you make it shallow?
Well, LAX shooter identified as off-duty TSA worker. They'll spin it on us somehow. And they're having a press conference now with all the police out there. TSA officer, they're not really officers, they're not sworn, has been killed and 2 others injured in a shooting today in Los Angeles by another TSA god. So there you go. I mean, is it bad when a god does something? Maybe they should give him a medal. Maybe they should, have a big, maybe shut down L.A. and have a parade through there for him. They'll carry him on their shoulders and maybe burn some children like incense just to honor the gods. Sad for those that died, but this is just really absolutely, totally disgusting what's going on. I'm going to go into overdrive. Some stations carry it, some don't. To continue, I've got to get to all this other Israel attacking Syria, the economic news, a bunch of new Obamacare stuff that's been breaking that I haven't gotten to. I've got to get to all this. Briefly, the new magazine is out. You can buy them in bulk at cost or give a year subscription at cost. And my point is we've priced this with the shipping included so that you can really get the most bang for the buck. Big color magazine full of more than 20-plus articles, documents, cartoons, stories, graphs. Is the next big crash coming? And it breaks down the Ponzi scheme and who's behind that. InfoWarsStore.com, or you can call toll-free 888-253-3139. A one-year subscription is $39.95. That includes the 12 shipping. So I'd probably lose money on that, actually. But whatever. The point is, take advantage of it. This is a big color magazine to give to people to really give them a powerful, packed piece of info. So InfoWarsStore.com or 888-253-3139. And it is your purchasing of the books, the videos, the Pro Pure water filters discounted with promo code WATER, the Modifilin that's got the great nascent iodine naturally in it, our special proprietary InfoWars Life Survival Shield, and nascent iodine is back in if you want that at InfoWarsStore.com. Or again, call toll-free 888-253-3139. And I would encourage you to get the iodine and to go watch the videos about it and what it's done for myself and so many others. This is different than all the other iodine out there from my research and the experience I've had. But bottom line, even if you don't get this, it's the Himalayan salts that all the doctors and people say has the natural, healthy iodine in it as well. Not the chemical iodine, the stuff that you put on your leg with a cut or whatever. And this is the big conspiracy to not have you be aware of the radiation levels going way up and more problems, not just from Fukushima, but a bunch of leaking reactors here. And it is the nascent that really protects the thyroid and the other glands. So InfoWarsLife.com or 888-253-3139. Again, some of the other news, they're trying to get amnesty, as they call it, and it is amnesty. It is total open borders to drive down wages. And if you like going to part-time now because of Obamacare, you're going to love the 30 million illegals on top of the ones that are here. And a Congressional Budget Office report put out, what was it, yesterday, said it would be another 30 million after this 16 million that's really 30 million. And folks, there's 700 million people that want to come up here that'll work for a quarter an hour. And you're not going to help their countries having them here. It will implode our country, and that's the globalist plan. I understand economics, but this is a 101. This is not hard to understand. DHS, by the way, is abusing overtime by $8.7 million a year. Of course they are. La Raza, which means the race, is the Hispanic Ku Klux Klan organization to get out the vote campaign. They say that Texas to California belongs to Mexico and is an anti-white organization. We're going into overdrive, folks. I'll be back this Sunday live, 4 to 6 p.m. Central with a Sunday transmission. Don't forget Nightly News tonight, 7 o'clock, prisonplanet.tv, 7.
Protecting your home with a security system is a must. But when it comes to protecting your family, your home, and belongings, there's no need to sign a long-term contract. Listen, there is some real scum in the alarm business, cashing in by locking you into long, punishing contracts. Not with Simply Safe Home Security. They're the good guys. You can trust Simply Safe to protect your family. Simply Safe was created by a Harvard Business School engineer, and it's revolutionary. You'll get 24-hour protection for just $14.99 a month. There are no hidden fees and no contracts. You'll save thousands. Plus, you're protected by their 100% money-back guarantee. Protect yourself against home invasions and break-ins. Order your Simply Safe system now and receive a wireless keychain remote, a $25 gift, free. So don't waste your time dealing with scum. Visit GetSimplySafe.com. GetSimplySafe.com. GetSimplySafe.com.
Coast to coast, direct from Austin. You're listening to the Alex Jones Broadcasting Network. Big Brother, mainstream media, government cover-ups. You want answers? Well, so does he. He's Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network. And now, live from Austin, Texas, Alex Jones.
We're taking your phone calls. We've got a spoof piece up on Infowars.com of Sesame Street. Talks about the Obama enrollees, all 6 of them. And that's the idiots that they've gone and helped to actually enroll in the fake system, just to create the illusion that mythically somebody won the lottery. I guarantee you, the psych warfare program is like a lottery. Now it's all about the mythical free health care you get while they destroy the health care. Totally executed with precision, hatred. Let's talk to Mike in California. Mike, you're on the air. Go ahead, sir. Thanks for holding.
How you doing, Alex?
Good, brother.
I've been following the LAX shooting since you kind of broke it earlier. What puzzles me is how did an M16 style weapon get past the front doors of the airport?
Well, here's the deal. The guys pointed out that they had an active shooter drill a week ago there, and then 2 weeks ago at their sister airport at Muskegon holds active shooter drill. And I've talked to a lot of cops who have exposed false flags off record, or things that they were clearly going to be false flags, where they were trying to get off-duty cops or informants to be part of a drill who they were really going to set up. So that is in the cards, that this would be a drill. Then you would have somebody else concealed shoot the people and then shoot the shooter. But that's in the cards. I'm not saying that happened. Knowing the psychology of a large portion of TSA agents, it's probably what you see like going postal. They probably fired somebody, it's going to come out, or they were on some type of serotonin reuptake inhibitor. I mean, again, if you study it, it's like what's most probable. Egomaniac going postal, who was also on a drug that makes you get rid of compulsion control. Because I would imagine everybody's had like a thought of wanting to bash somebody's brains in, but you have control over that. Well, you start taking serotonin reuptake inhibitors or that similar family, you get a compulsion to chop your 2-year-old's arms off with a machete. You know, mama does it. And then dances around the front yard with a dead baby. So that's what this does. So I would imagine it's going to be a Prozac head on a power trip. What do you think?
I totally agree. On a second note, I'm also one of those Americans that doesn't want to be getting government assistance, but kind of have to with, hours getting cut. And
Oh, no, I get it. They have designed it where it's very hard to try to make it on your own. That's the plan, yeah.
Yeah, me and my wife, we both work, and, we still need to get some form of assistance. And it kind of upsets me that there's these people, when we have to go turn in our paperwork to the welfare office, that are sitting in the parking lot in Mercedes-Benzes, and me and my wife, we have a car that barely works.
Well, that's because you're not part of a really protected group, a.k.a. illegals, but they're only allowed to, on record, have 10, 15 welfare checks, per mom, while the dad does work for super low wages to drive down wages. They're not the bad guys even though it's immoral, because they're fleeing collapsed globalist countries. They get here, they're allowed to do this, but only for a season until they've imploded all the wages. So again, Obamacare's already imploded them. When they legalize the 30 million illegals, which they've pretty much already done by fiat, it's going to implode even more. And so, I can't blame the working poor. Well, no, the Health and Human Services said last week, we recommend you tell your employees who are going from full-time to part-time to get welfare supplemental assistance. This is the new American way. This is the Cloward and Piven goal.
Throughout the year, I'll juggle 2 or 3 different jobs at a time. Just try to make ends meet.
Well, it's your responsibility. If I was you, I'm not telling you to do this, but I would do this. If you're working poor, blue collar, it's time to go like the illegals and mow yards and do handyman stuff on a cash operation. They've designed the taxes in the system where you have to give up your dignity and go get money from them to survive when you're working 2, 3 jobs. This has been their plan the whole time. And everybody's going to end up going on welfare by the time they're done, except for the globalists. In France, they have a 100% tax on the middle class. We'll be right back. My friends, Alex Jones here to tell you about some of the most important information concerning you and your family's health. Radiation levels have more than doubled in the last 60 years in the Northern Hemisphere from all of the nuclear testing and radiological accidents. Radioactive contamination is now in most of the food supply. There's only 2 ways to avoid this. Move south of the equator or properly protect your thyroid with nascent iodine. Looking to protect my family, I've done deep research. Nascent iodine is the purest, cleanest, absolute best form of iodine to protect yourself and your family. It's made right here in the USA, completely non-GMO. I searched out the best quality and now have developed a double-strength form of nascent iodine, exclusively available at InfoWarsLife.com. Nascent iodine is on record as one of the only safe ways to detox from fluoride poisoning. Survival Shield Nascent Iodine. Secure your super high-quality nascent iodine today at InfoWarsLife.com. That's InfoWarsLife.com.
And now, an important sponsored message for men only from GetEDSolutions.com. Men who were formerly taking ED medication are now reporting that a secret underground video has restored their male performance better than pills. These men say this secret underground video is bringing back the male performance and sensation they've been missing for years, and it's working better than pills.
Things are so much better now. Everything kind of came back overnight. My girlfriend is very happy.
I purchased your product yesterday, and it was fantastic.
I have used your system for about 3 weeks, and I'm already seeing great results.
The owner of this video has reported the overwhelming bandwidth costs may necessitate his taking this video down. Don't miss watching this urgent video on fixing male performance while it's still up at GetEDSolutions.com. There may only be hours left, so watch now at GetEDSolutions.com. GetEDSolutions.com. GetEDSolutions.com.
Did you ever look at the stains in your coffee cup and then realize that's exactly what happens to your teeth? Paraswabs is the 5-minute solution to get your teeth white without visiting the dentist. This is John Greenhut, the CEO of Paraswabs. And if your teeth are stained from coffee, tea, or smoking, all it takes is 5 minutes with Paraswabs. In 5 minutes, you'll see an average of 2 shades whiter teeth, and in 7 days, 6 shades. It's clinically proven to whiten natural teeth as well as caps and veneers. The secret is a tooth detergent that was developed by Dr. Martin Ginegar that lifts stains off of your teeth. Best of all, there's no messy strips or trays that you have to leave in your mouth for an hour. Just swab your teeth for 5 minutes and you're done. To try Paraswabs risk-free, dial 1-800-960-9553. That's 1-800-960-9553. I guarantee your bright white smile will have your friends, family, and coworkers talking about how great you look. Try it risk-free today. 1-800-960-9553. That's 1-800-960-9553.
The Genesis Communications Radio Network proudly presents The Alex Jones Show, because there's a war on for your mind.
We've got some good news, folks. The establishment criminals that run our society know the tide's turned against them. Their illegal, panopticonic, total surveillance grid that they've been putting in place that we paid for, being used against us, is now coming out in the open. And they tried to bill Mr. Snowden as a criminal. But then Russia took him, and now the German government's wanting to talk to him. And so now he's seen as a worldwide hero. So that's why they try to keep saying he's a criminal, he's a traitor, he's bad. No, the people doing this are traitors. And they're systematically dismantling our country. But here's some of the headlines up on Infowars.com. And it's also on DrudgeReport.com. Germany prepared to speak with Snowden. It's back at USA. He's not hitting back at the USA, folks. He's hitting back at the criminals. There's a new poll out. Democratic incumbents are in big trouble. That's great. We need to get Tea Party Republicans, who are real Tea Party Republicans, elected. That's why the Republican and Democratic establishment are on record going after libertarian takeover of the Republican Party. I mean, that can happen, folks. We can beat these people if we believe in it and take action. Mother Jones shocker. New poll shows Democratic incumbents in big trouble. In Democratic districts, new net incumbent approval has plummeted by 11 points, +8 approval to 3 plus disapproval. In Republican districts, incumbent approval has gone down by only 4 points. So the truth is the Democrats know to blame their own people. And it's not that the Republican leadership is any better. They're just as bad or worse in some cases. But the difference is Obama is getting the blame for this. And that's good at a level. The banks and insurance companies that wrote it should get the full blame. But it's important he be destroyed because he's the carrier of all this, like a rat carries the bubonic plague. And so do we have the Sesame Street piece ready? I want to play this little piece dealing with the 6 enrollees of Obamacare that have successfully enrolled. Here is the spoof.
Ask. 6. My favorite number is 6.
Bert, nobody's favorite number is 6.
Sometimes I spend the whole afternoon sitting around and singing a tune about 6.
6.
Sometimes I think of 6 bricks.
Bert, that's very boring.
Or else I think of 6 sticks.
Oh, that's even more boring.
Not 5 bricks or sticks, but 6. Now 2 is your eyes and 1's your nose and 5 is your fingers or your toes and 4 is the legs on an easy chair. Yet there's no number can compare with 6.
How about 9 or 3?
Nothing more lovely than 6.
I don't know, Bert.
When someone says, hey, Bert, pick a number, well, I always pick the one nobody picks. My favorite number is 6.
You know, I hate to break this to you, Bert, but 6 isn't anybody's favorite number.
It's my favorite number, Ernie.
I mean, 6 just sort of sits there between 5 and 7. You know, you have 5 fingers on your hand, and there are 7 days in a week. But there's not really 6 of anything.
I know, Ernie, I know. Now 2 is your eyes and 1's your nose and 5 is your fingers or your toes and 4 is the legs on an easy chair. Yet there's no number can compare with 6.
All right, Bert.
Nothing more lovely than 6.
Have it your way.
When someone says, hey, Bert, pick a number, well, I always pick the one nobody picks. My favorite number is 6. Harry, what are you doing? Can I sit in my chair, huh?
Not right now, Bert. I'm thinking, Bert.
About what?
I'm thinking about my favorite number, Bert.
Oh, really? What is that? What is it?
8,243,721, Bert.
I still like 6.
It's actually tens of millions that have tried to enroll in Obamacare. And again, the cover of New Yorker magazine has Obama and Sebelius and some idiot nerd trying to make a computer work with a floppy disk. Folks, they designed this way. You're never getting anything free. The bill says it. And you're going to get your prices increased. And you're going to get small hospitals shut down. It's all public. It's all public. I mean, you notice exactly what we said happened. And I'm talking to the Obama supporters. But you know what really matters? Look at this article. Hallmark accused of homophobia after changing gay to fun in Deck the Halls lyric. So first they didn't want to hurt people by saying the word gay, which was in the original Deck the Halls, you know, with gay apparel and stuff, meaning happy apparel. Now it's homophobic to change it. See, there's no way. And then, of course, though even worse, a man in England who liked fried meatballs that are called faggots, been called that for hundreds of years. Well, he's been removed. But Al-Qaeda can chop heads off on Facebook and YouTube, and that's allowed. That's London Guardian. Thought I'd mention that to everybody for you about what's going on that front. And remember, Premier Hospitals, it's being reported by U.S. News and World Report, they're allowed to opt out. Of course, it was written to shut down their competition. And again, my dad is in healthcare management, not just in major dental healthcare management, but he was in other healthcare management, and they were trying to, under Obamacare, make him just basically push vaccines and pills. And he could make the most money he's ever made in his life doing this, and he didn't do it. So doctors, because that's how they have a lot of state laws, that doctors have to run medical systems, so they'll get doctors that are trustworthy and smart business-wise to run healthcare systems. No one moral will be part of this. And it's also written where they can arrest you anytime they want if you don't engage in the activities they want. So it's very, very sick. This just was posted on Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. We always forget to post stuff on PrisonPlanet.com. Top generals reveal Obama's secret high-level military purge. And Drudge has a story from WorldNet Daily on the right-hand side, right below our article about the Chinese spy ship. It's on the right-hand side. So go check that out, and then go to Infowars.com and check out top generals reveal Obama's secret high-level military purge. Now, remember, we've had a Navy SEAL on saying that the officers above him that he talks to are being asked, will you confiscate guns? We have military videos sent to us of them saying that FEMA is preparing them for this mission during a suspension of the Constitution. We have Brigade Homeland openly training for this, and Army Times, and Northcom, all the admissions and all the urban warfare training, and Homeland Security spending hundreds of millions per state for armed guards and riot control around welfare centers. I mean, this is a serious situation. And this is all social engineering. They get total government in place, put in a system to bankrupt the middle class, make poor even poorer, and then they start cutting the welfare. Then they use the civil unrest to bring in full control. I don't know if that's Obama's strategy, but that's what the globalists have done everywhere else. I don't know if they're going to feel frisky enough to try this, because we've not been in a laying on our back stance to this. Libertarians, constitutionalists, real conservatives, classical liberals that want justice have all been fighting this and exposing this. And you notice a lot of mainline establishments like, cut the welfare, cut it, it's a big part of the deficit. Compared to the derivatives and the corporate welfare, it's small. And I agree we shouldn't have a dependent class because it makes some government minions to vote to take my guns. I get all that. And to say my kids belong to them. In fact, I never played that. Let's play that clip in a minute of MSNBC to remind folks of how arrogant they are. I get all that. I understand all that. We have to phase them off of it and bring back economic opportunities and low taxes, the American dream, so that all these poor folks who can be moved off the social safety net, can be moved back into working, and make it a safety net, not a web to catch little flies for the foreign banks to eat you more easily. We don't want a spider's web of evil. We want a safety net. That should be run by the states and local governments and churches, by the way. Here they are, though, saying your kids belong to them.
we haven't had a very collective notion of these are our children. So part of it is we have to break through our kind of private idea that kids belong to their parents or kids belong to their families and recognize that kids belong to whole communities. Once it's everybody's responsibility and not just the households, then we start making better investments.
Then the term is the famous socialist term, lean forward. Even because to socialists, they see that and know what it is. Now let's continue here. Top generals reveal Obama's secret high-level military purge. And the big issue here and why this is so important, this just broke, Anthony Gucciardi, is this backs up the 2 top nuke generals fired right after we reported on the missing nukes. All the other purges going on. This is a major general going public, Congressional Medal of Honor winner, speaking on record with WorldNet Daily, Major General Patrick Brady, says that they are purging the military of people that will not accept the gun confiscation and all the tyranny and all the rest of it. So we don't need to be told this to know it. It's dozens of top generals they've been canning and getting rid of. But the 2 top nuke commanders, one of them, the day we broke that story, he was fired. And this is a real source about these missing nukes, by the way, who won't talk to us anymore. I don't blame them. You know, you drop a potato on that's a hot potato right there. I said I'd get to all these calls. We'll skip this network break, go to the bottom of the hour. But I do have a ton of important work to do. But what's more important than being on air here? Let me mention some more news, skip this network break, and then I'll go back to your calls quickly here at the end of the transmission. But Anthony Gucciardi at Infowars.com, StoryLeak.com, his site, and PrisonPlanet.com ties it all in together right there. We're also going to tweet this out at Real Alex Jones as soon as I end the official show here in about 10 minutes. So please retweet that out for us. And pray for us, by the way. I mean, I'm all gutted up here and on the air all day and just kind of rampaging through the news. Sometimes even forgetting to breathe. But it's pretty crazy what we're all in together. And we are all in this together, don't forget that. Israeli planes, of course, strike Syrian military bases, a U.S. official says. Israeli military airplanes struck a military base near the Syrian port city of Latakia. Am I saying Latakia this week? An Obama administration official, not a servant, an official, told CNN last night. An explosion at the missile storage site in the area was reported in the Middle Eastern press, but an attack has not been confirmed by the Israeli government. Boy, I tell you. A continuing study finds conventional chicken to be highly contaminated with arsenic. Well, that's okay. Fed says spending cuts hurt economy. QE infinity will continue. Only giving big banks the money, though, not even the public. If you're going to have inflation, might as well give it to the public. Then continuing, I want to play the Pearl Jam clip, if we have it queued right up here in a moment, right where he pushes his gun-grabbing garbage. But here's the big news I should have covered all day more, and we'll probably cover this on the nightly news. Naturalnews.com, Ethan A. Huff reports this. It's also on Infowars.com. CISPA attack on internet freedom of speech is back with a vengeance. And it goes on to say here that they have reintroduced the legislation that does the exact same thing it did before, but this time there's almost no public outcry on that front. And I was mentioning Snowden earlier. The good news is they've lost the PR war that people that report on crime and expose crime are the bad guys. No, the guys doing the crimes are the bad guys. And Edward Snowden says he's willing to come to Germany after meeting with German lawmaker. But we'll see if that ends up happening. They may force his plane down with NATO F-16s. They've already tried that when they thought he was on a plane in what was in Austria. Unprecedented criminal activity. Germany, again, advises journalists to stop using Google. You know, like Matt Drudge famously said, you need to go back to the parking garages like Deep Throat. Germany advises journalists to stop using Google over U.S. spying concerns, may ask Snowden to testify against NSA. And then, of course, the documents have come out how they spy with Google on the people. So that's just some of the news on that front. We're going to go ahead now and play a clip of Pearl Jam singer stops concert to push gun control. You know, that's a good headline, but how about to push victim disarmament? This is the guy that has armed guards, and here he is talking to his moron fans.
And you know as well as I, you have to be very careful when talking about something like this because they want to defame your character or
Hit pause, back it up. This is what they always do. Sean Penn says put Ted Cruz with an executive order in a mental institution when he needs to be in a rubber room himself. Very low IQ, big idiot. Met him many times, talked to him on the phone, not just meeting him in person and talking to him. And, I mean, you really realize this person is a moron. And you notice, like, they want to take away your freedom of speech. No, you're trying to take my guns. You're the one trying to take my right to defend myself and everything else. And trying to take my free speech away with the fairness doctrine. Amazing. And one of our listeners shot this video on YouTube. And this is the Eddie Vedder saying that we're trying to take his free speech. No. See, with a progressive authoritarian who progresses the evil, disagreeing with them is racist or hateful. And then if you vehemently say, how dare you try to take my rights, my property, my right to self-defense, while you have bodyguards, that turns into trying to take his free speech away. You're a liar, Eddie Vedder. What a piece of trash. Let's go back to the clip. Listen to this.
And you know as well as I, you have to be very careful when talking about something like this because they want to defame your character or take away your right to speak.
Listen how stupid he is.
While they're protecting the Second Amendment, they also don't think that you have the right to speak as an American, as a taxpayer, as a father, as a parent. We've got a right to speak on this issue when the safety of our children is directly affected. And you will take some hits if you put it out there, but that's the thing. I just want to clarify, and we've done some research, and I've talked to some very much smarter than people than myself. There's a lot of them. But the myth that the gun lobby is the most powerful lobby in our country is a myth. That's a myth. The money is not the most money.
Let's get that idiot off the screen. Thank you. The article's up on Infowars.com by Don Salazar. Pearl Jam singer stops concert to push gun control. It goes on and on. He says, we got to get organized. We got to come after them. We got to get their guns. And keeps couching it in, they can't stop our free speech. They're not going to stop us. Like we're trying to take their First Amendment when they're going after everything. They're the ones going after everything. And he sits there couching it with like 50,000 mindless idiots cheering and loving it. And him going, it's a myth, and it's a myth that guns make us a myth. I mean, he's just an idiot. Unbelievable. Let's go ahead and... USA! USA! There you go. That's what they'll chant when they take our guns. USA! Let's go ahead and talk to Steve in California. Steve, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Yeah, hi, Alex. A pleasure to talk with you. First-time caller, avid listener. The October 3rd incident at our nation's capital with the Mariam Carey, the hygienist, gunned down by Obama goons. Is there any truth that she's tied closer than is out in the media?
Well, I mean, she thought that when she ran into the checkpoint, as I predicted, they were bad men coming after her. She ran into an Army checkpoint that was random, part of a drill, bumped into it, ran away. Then cops smashed down the barriers, and they chased her. She panicked, and they killed her. And they are being given gold medals and stuff by Congress. So great heroes. But she was a woman being treated for anxiety and other stuff, and she got scared at a third world checkpoint and ran, and she died.
Has you and your investigative team looked into anything further? Some of the stuff that's going around that Obama's love child could have been in the backseat kind of thing?
Well, the word is he's not even bisexual. He only likes men. So, like, I mean, I don't think that's possible. So, I mean, he's the love child of a famous communist pornographer, but the evidence all points towards that. But thank you so much. We'll look into that. Yeah, I've heard that, but there's no real proof that I've seen. When men can start having babies, then we got to worry about love children with Obama. Let's talk to, it's like Hillary only had the, Chelsea for a prop with Clinton. He likes to beat up and rape women. She likes girls. And I'm not attacking him. I mean, the fact is, we've already had a lesbian first lady and a rapist president. Let's talk to Dallas in Canada. Last caller we have time for. Sorry for the others. Go ahead, sir.
Hey, Alex. Nice to finally talk to you. I've been a listener for 10 years now. I'm living up here in the nanny state in Ontario. We just cut down some trees in our yard, and the bureaucrats come over taking pictures because we cut down trees. Can't cut down trees on your own property.
Oh, yeah, they're going to hit you with some fines and stuff. Again, they've got to end all normal agriculture and human life, yeah but there's no regulations or anything on big corporations. They can do whatever they want. Mm-hmm.
And then we had a tent that was close to the road, and you have to have it a certain distance from the road. So I think that's pretty crazy.
Oh, yeah, it's always fun to set up a tent in the front yard for kids to play in, but it's like, even if you live in the country now, it's like a giant UN neighborhood association. That's what Agenda 21 is, harassing everyone.
It's one of those car tents where you park your car in it. So you can't even.
Oh, that's even more. Oh, that's racist. No, I took some brown paper towels yesterday when I spilt some tea in the shipping room, and the crew pointed out that I was being racist using brown paper to sop something up. That was really code against brown people.
And then one other thing is I've noticed, because I'm a Muslim, I noticed that the Muslims are sort of, you know how they do the divide and conquer thing? Well, the new thing is they put their hope and everything into the Al-Qaeda group. So I talk to a lot of them, and they seem to, you bring the facts forward that, hey, Al-Qaeda is really run by CIA, but they've already put all their faith and all their hope into it, and bin Laden's their hero, and they don't want to hear anything else.
Well, that's why when Bandar Bush, the Sultan, would be on TV, the ambassador from Saudi Arabia, he would defend Al-Qaeda, even though they were launching an attack on Iraq, their enemy, when the hijackers came from Saudi Arabia, because they had to have him rock star over there because they were getting it ready to be the hero of the Al-Qaeda brigade to take over all the other countries, and for the U.S. government to give them all the weapons. Absolutely. And people, just like their faith in Obama, some Muslims that like Al-Qaeda, they just can't admit they're wrong because it just feels too good to be part of the system.
We're on the march. The Empire's on the run.
I'll be back this Sunday, 4 to 6 p.m. Central. Pray for us. We're praying for you. Sunday radio show, folks. My friends, Alex Jones here to tell you about some of the most important information